We're really fortunate to have this opportunity to hear Srimad-Bhagavatam on this auspicious occasion of Padmini Ekadashi during the Adhik Mas or the Purushottam Mas. Our heartfelt gratitude and sincere thanks to Prabhu Satchitananda Das Prabhuji, whose lectures have come really as a sweet nectar during this COVID lockdown. So this will be the sixth session on verse 1.1.1. We greatly admire Prabhuji's endeavor to provide us such a detailed and deep explanation and very patiently answering the questions at the end of the session. So before we commence today's session, we'd like to make an important announcement. We'd like to share this sad news of the demise of Anup Sahu Prabhu's father, Sri Dibakar Sahu, and share a few words about his nice personality. So Sri Dibakar Sahu left peacefully for his holy abode on the day of Indira Ekadashi, 14 September 2020, in Odisha, India. He was born in 1943 in Bhadrak, Odisha. Being the eldest among his siblings and a very resilient person, he led a very principled and virtuous life, fighting hardships and took care of the family in all ways. So during his late 40s, he lost his beloved wife. Still, he managed to raise his 5 kids, both fulfilling the roles of father and mother without any disquiet. So he had immense faith in God from his early childhood, always chanted Harinam, sang Thakurji's bhajans, and he was really passionate for reading books, mostly patriotic and spiritual. He visited Canada multiple times, and I had the good fortune of interacting with him. And he has always been very popular with everyone due to his amazing ability of storytelling. So he was extremely sweet and soft speaking and an epitome of simplicity. So in these times of COVID, he was really fortunate to leave his body at his native place in Bhadra and with all his family members around him, and most importantly, chanting the holy name. So we pray to Lord Krishna that may Lord Krishna grant the ability to give comfort to the bereaved family members, and may Lord Krishna grant everlasting peace to the departed soul. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. So I would like to dedicate today's Bhagavatam Katha to the departed soul of Sri Dibakar Sahu. Yeah, we just had to make this announcement, and now we would like to request Prabhuji to commence today's session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Tarine Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesh Tanayas तद्धाम वृंदावनम रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधुवर्गेण तया कल्पिता श्रीमद् भागवत पुराणयमलं प्रेम पुमार्थो महान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभुर्मतैदं नायत्रयाग्रह परः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today is Sunday, September 27, 2020, and I welcome all the devotees on behalf of the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat group to serve Srimad-Bhagavatam. But before we start Srimad-Bhagavatam today, because today is a very, very special day, today is actually Padmini Ekadashi, and that too in the Purushottam Mass, in this wonderful, most auspicious spiritual month of Purushottam Mass. So whatever spiritual activities we do will be multiplied thousands of times, especially today being Padmini Ekadashi, falling in the Purushottam Mass. So in the Purushottam Mass, as last time I had given the Mahatmya, we had also requested devotees in their own homes to follow as much as possible to the best of their ability for their own spiritual benefit. And one of the most important things that one should follow in Purushottam Mass is sing the glories and some stavas of Krishna. So I believe on the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat group, I had posted last time the Chor Ashtakam. This is one of the Ashtakams or the prayers that are sung along with Nandanandan Ashtakam and many other prayers that glorify Sri Krishna. So those who have had an opportunity to take a look from last week, I had posted Chor Ashtakam. So we will sing that first and then we will move to the Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Today it will be the 6th session on verse number 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's an amazing verse. We are all blessed that we are able to somehow or the other speak and listen, serve Srimad Bhagavatam. So please join me, open up your own phones. If you need about a few seconds, just Google Chor Ashtakam, CHORASHAKATAM, or the first 3 words are Vraje, VRAJE, Prasiddham, PRASIDDHAM, Navanita Choram, NAVANITA, Choram, CHAURAM. So please Google that, and I will give you a few seconds to find it, and then we can all sing it together. Also, Of course, as Asim Kaur Prabhu had mentioned, uh, we are dedicating today's Katha, today's spiritual program to the departed father of our Anup Prabhu, who is a very dedicated devotee in the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat group and the Jagannath Temple, Canada. So, our prayers at the lotus feet of Radha Krishna and to the lotus feet of the Vaishnava Acharyas to accept this jiva for his eternal well-being. So I would request all the devotees to keep Mr. Dibyakar Sahu in your prayers, and especially let us dedicate today's katha, today's satsang, Bhagavad Katha, in this auspicious occasion of Padmini Ekadashi, in this auspicious Purushottam Mass. So I'm hoping all of you found this Chor Ashtakam. This Chor Ashtakam is a wonderful Ashtak. Ashtak means it has got 8 verses, and 8 verses glorifying Sri Krishna's pastimes of as a chore, as a thief, and the meaning is amazing. This Ashtakam itself, when we have an opportunity at another time, maybe we can just dedicate one program trying to dive deep into this Chor Ashtakam and try to understand the deeper meaning. It has been composed by a great Vaishnava Acharya, Srila Bilva Mangal Thakur. So it is to our benefit that we sing this in this on this Padmini Ekadashi day in this Purushottam Mass of 2020. So I will start singing, and you all can sing at your end as well. Braje prasiddham navanita choram gopangananam dukula choram. Braje prasiddham navanita choram gopangananam chadukula choram. अनेक जन्म रचित पाप चोरम चोरग्रगण्यम पुरुषम नमामि चोरग्रगण्यम पुरुषम नमामि श्री राधिकाय हृदयस्य चोरम नवाम्बुध श्यामलकान्ति चोरम पादाश्रितं च समस्तचोरं चोरग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि चोरग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पादाश्रितं यः करोति भिक्षुं पथिगेहहीनम् केनापि भीष्मचोरैर्दृक् दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयापि दृष्टाश्रुतो वा जगत्त्रयेऽपि यदीयनामापि हरति अशेषम् गिरिप्रसारणपि पापराशिम् आश्चर्यरूपानानुचोरैर्दृक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न माया कदापि दृष्टश्रुत वा न मया कदापि धनं च मानं च तत्रेन्द्रियाणि प्राणांश्चरेत्वा मम सर्वमेव पालस्य पुत्र धृतोऽद्य चोर Tam bhaktya damna simaya nirodha. Tam bhakti namna simaya nirodha. Chitasi ghoram yamapasha bandham. Vinatsi bhiman bhavapasha bandham. Chinatsi sarvasya samasta bandham naivatmano bhakti krutam tu bandham naivatmano bhakta krutam tu bandham mana mana se tamas rashi ghore karagriha dukkha mai nibadha Navaswahi Chaura Hare Chiraya Swachaurya Doshitam Eva Dandam Swachaurya Doshitam Eva Dandam Karagriye Vasa Sadarudaye Madhye Madbhakti Pasha Druda Bandhan Nischalasan Tvam Krishna he pralaya koti sanataryapi sarvasva choram hridayam nahi mochami sarvasva choram hridayam cha mochami Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vraje prasiddham navanita choram gopam gana chaduko lachoram. Aneka janmarajit papa choram Chauragraganyam Purusham Namami Chauragraganyam Purusham Namami Chauragraganyam Purusham Namami. Hare Krishna. I will quickly translate this so that at least for those who have not followed all the words, it will be beneficial. Bilawamangal Thakur is saying that I offer my Danvat Pranams to the topmost of the thieves. A Chora Agraganyam. Agraganya means one who is the foremost of thieves, who is famous. He is well known in Vraj, as known as Navnita Chora or butter thief. And he also not only steals butter, but he steals so many things, including the Chirharan, the vastras or the dresses of the gopis. And for those, he also who takes shelter at his lotus feet, he steals away all his sins. What a beautiful composition, which has occurred over lifetimes. Aneka papa jita choram, chora graganyam purusham namami. Just like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ahamtam, one who surrenders to me completely. Krishna says in the main theme of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 1866, chapter 18, verse number 66. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja ahamtam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami masucha. If you surrender unto me, I will take care of all your sinful reactions since time immemorial for many, many births. I will steal them away. So because he is a chore, he is a transcendental thief, he can even take away, he can even steal away our sinful activities, our sins, our sinful reactions. Then he says in the next verse that I offer my obeisances, my pranams, chora graganyam purusham namami, to the foremost thief in Raj. And that foremost thief is Sri Krishna. And what does he do? He Radhikasya. He also steals the heart of Radharani. And he steals the dark luster of the freshly formed rain cloud. A beautifully, freshly formed rain cloud is very beautiful, very unique in color. Navanira the Nindita Kanti Dharam. Krishna's color is that of a Nava. Nava means new. Nindita Kanti Dharam. That can even put the shame of a newly formed fresh cloud. Nava means new. Nindita Kanti Dharam. Nindita means one who puts to shame. Kanti Dharam. Kanti Dharam means the effulgence or the beauty of a freshly formed cloud. This is exactly what he's saying. That he has even, Krishna is such an expert thief, that he has even stolen the beauty of the freshly formed cloud's beauty. Eh, of the rain cloud. And who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his lotus feet. This is Krishna, the Agraganyam, the topmost thief. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers. So this is another amazing thing that, for those who are very highly surrendered, Krishna will steal away all his material possessions. Krishna will steal away all the material things in their life that are impediments. And sometimes Krishna leaves them wandering in the forest of Vrindavan, wandering here and there, simply chanting the holy names in ecstasy. And they are almost like beggars, materially speaking, but they are actually very rich because they have Krishna. But materially speaking, Krishna takes away all the material possessions. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard in all the three worlds. I've never seen such a thief in the three worlds who can even steal away everything. He steals away from the people who have surrendered to him. What kind of a thief he is? Sometimes when we surrender to somebody, please, I surrender to you, then that person is compassionate and he gives you. But here, this thief takes away from you. Amazing. What a thief. What such a fearsome thief. Then he's saying, mere utterance of his name, matra, just by taking the holy name of Krishna, one purges a whole mountain of sins. The whole many accumulated sins that have accumulated have become like a huge mountain, and those sins can vanish. This entire mountain of sins can vanish. Such an astonishingly, such a wonderful thief I have never heard or seen before. And he says in the next verse, "Oh thief, you have stolen my wealth. You have stolen my house. You have stolen everything. You have stolen my senses, my life and everything. Now, where can you run to? Where will you be running now? I've already caught you. I've caught you with the rope of my devotion." So Bilva Mangal Thakur is saying that now you will not escape. You're caught, you're arrested, and you're arrested with not some ordinary handcuffs, but with the rope of my devotion. So beautiful this bhav is. And Krishna loves this stuti. And then he says, you cut the terrible noose of Yamraj. We are all born in this material world and we are knowingly or unknowingly committing sins. So naturally at the time of death, most of us are possibly going to go to the hellish planets. The noose of Yamraj is brought by the fearsome Yamdutas, his messengers at the time of death. They come, there's a description in the Srimad-Bhagavatam in the 6th canto, chapter 1, in the Katha of Jamil, where the Yamduts, for a sinful person, the Yamduts are sent from the hellish planets, from Patal Loka, to reclaim that jiva from the body, and that jiva is arrested just like a policeman arrests with handcuffs and ropes. That they also have a Yampash. Pash means a rope, and they bring that rope, the messengers or the messengers of death, they bring a rope with them to tie that soul and drag him to the hellish planets. So, but here, your holy name simply cuts the noose, the fascia of Yamraj, and the dreadful noose of this material existence, which is also nonetheless the same as the noose of Yamraj. You simply slash everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. So you cannot escape, O Chor. But you can cut the knots of the devotees when they take the name. You can cut the knots of sin. You can cut the knots of Yamraj's fasa or Yamraj's noose, the death hanging noose. But you will not escape, O Krishna, you will not escape the ropes that are lovingly bound by your devotee. There is no escape for you, O chora, O thief. And then he says, O stealer of everything, you steal everything. O thief, O chor, today I have imprisoned you in my heart, in the miserable prison of my heart. So now you cannot leave. You have to stay in my heart, which is fearful due to terrible darkness. I am such a sinful person that my heart does not have any good things. It is like a prison, very dark. Somebody who is very sinful, his life is full of darkness. So Bilomangal Thakur is very humble. He's saying that I am such a sinful person and my life is full of darkness. So my heart is also very dark because I'm a very sinful person. And you are going to be imprisoned in that heart. Just like some prisoners who have committed very powerful crimes, they are sent into the dark jails where there is no light, there is no window, none of that. So like this, Bilomangal Thakur is telling Sri Krishna that now you will have to suffer the dark jail of my heart. And due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance, my heart is also dark. So and then he's saying in the last verse, oh Krishna, thief of everything, you are the stealer of everything. The noose of my devotion remaining forever tight. My noose will not become loose. Don't think that you're going to talk me sweetly so that you can escape. My noose of devotion is so tight that you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart, because I will never release you, not for a million eons, never ever. So this is Chorashtakam. Can you all imagine that somebody has written such a wonderful poem? Vaishnavas are amazing. That even something in the society that is considered bad, like stealing, it has been eulogized. It has been glorified with such transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna. So that is why the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna personally says, Janma karma cheme divyam. My birth, my activities, everything is divyam. Everything is transcendental. It is not ordinary like a human being. So we have to understand whatever activities, whether Krishna cheats, whether Krishna steals, whether Krishna kills, whether Krishna embraces, whether whatever Krishna does is full of meaning, it is full of benefit for the soul, it is full of rasa, it is full of pleasure, transcendental pleasure for the devotee and for Sri Krishna himself, for the devotees and for Sri Krishna himself. So Chora Ashtakam ki jai, Purushottam Mas ki jai, Padmini Ekadashi ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So please, during this Mass, sing some stutis and follow. Last time, I have sent a recording to everyone about the Mahatmya. Last time we spent almost half the class on the glories of Purushottam Mass. So please avail of the recordings. That way, in case if we have to refer some of the important things of Purushottam Mass, that will give us immense benefit. It is even more powerful than Kartik. Kartik, out of the 12 months, Kartik is the most powerful. But this 13th month comes after every 32 months, after 2 years and 8 months. And it is Purushottam Mass, which is 1,000 times more powerful than Kartik. So again, we are very fortunate to have gathered in this satsang, especially in this Purushottam Mass and Padmini Ekadashi. So now I will enter into the 6th session of Srimad-Bhagavatam. We are still in the very first verse. Now, there was so much. I mean, you can imagine we have spoken on this for 5 sessions continuously, almost 2 hours every session for the last 5 Sundays. Today is the 6th Sunday, and we are still into the wonderful meanings of the first verse as explained by our Vaishnava Acharyas. And they are so deep. And today I'm going to reveal some of the most intimate secrets. Normally I would not be doing it, but it would be kind of a contempt if I were not to mention this particular rasic meaning, which will be one of the most important and dearmost explanations in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. that will explain the most innermost and the most secret meaning of the first verse itself. Of course, every word in the Srimad Bhagavatam is of importance. Every word has got a very deep meaning. But when we are churning, just like when devotees, when Mother Yashoda or when the gopis, when they are churning the milk and they're churning it and they're churning the yogurt, the dahi, and the sweet yogurt is churned and churned and churned until or even more the sweet yogurt becomes even more sweeter with the sweet butter floating on top. And then from that butter, that sweet butter is gathered, and from that sweet butter more and more different churnings or more and more different sweet items have been made for the pleasure of the devotees and for the pleasure of Krishna. Just like milk is very good, milk is amazing, it is the most complete food. And one who takes milk, even a little baby infant, they cannot survive on anything else except milk. All mammals, whether it is a cow or a horse or a human being, the sustenance is milk. So milk has got a lot of power in it. But can you imagine the milk further has so much sweetness, and the sweetness has to be churned. It has to be transformed, and that transformation only devotees can do. And the great devotees are able to transform and churn the verses of the scriptures, the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they throw newer and newer, deeper and deeper light on Srimad Bhagavatam. So as I had explained in the last several verses, last several sessions rather, that in Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse Janmadi Yasya, yato anvayad itaratascha artheshva abhigyaswarat tene brahma rida adi kavaye muhyanti yat suraya tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo amrusha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. So in this verse, we have so many discussions that we had for the last 5 weeks. But today, I would like to take you all to a very, very, very confidential and a deeper meaning of this verse. Though in the very first verse, of course, it is basically, I also just to all remind you that it is itself is a commentary on the Gayatri Mantra. Our acharyas explained that the Gayatri Mantra has been explained in this first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And also Srimad Bhagavatam is the actual authentic commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. If you all remember, I had mentioned what the Vedanta is. Ved means all the Vedas. The Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, Atharva Ved, all the explanations of the Vedas, including the Upanishads, etc., and the auxiliary literatures. So the Vyasdev, in his maturity, had compiled the Vedanta Sutra. And Ved means all the Vedas, all the knowledge, material and spiritual, that is Veda. And Anta means conclusion. So combination of both words, Vedanta. But Vedanta Sutra, and Sutra means acronyms. And the very first sutra is Janmadiyasya, which is also the first 2 words of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this sutra or the acronym says Janamadiyasya. Janamadiyasya means everything. Krishna, creation, sustenance, and its annihilation. It happens, you are the cause of all the causes. Lord Brahma says in the Brahma Samhita, Sarva Karana Karanam, Govindam Adi Purusham, Tavaham Bhajami. Scriptures mention this. Bhagavad Gita mentions is that Krishna is the source of everything. He is the resting place of everything. Just like a pearl necklace just rests on the chest of a person, similarly, the entire creation rests on Krishna. So like this, there are so many deeper meanings of just the 2 words. We have taken 1 full session just to explain the first 2 words of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadiyasya. Now I would like to take you all to a deeper meaning of this word Janmadiyasya. Now, Janam means the creation or the manifestation, and Asya means you, O Krishna, and Adi means etc. So here, this Janmadiyasya means the Adi Rasa. Please hear very carefully, because this is a very confidential topic, and I don't think I will be discussing this again and again, because this is a very, very advanced topic. But since we are actually speaking on this verse, it would be kind of incomplete, or especially for me, not to share the deeper nuances. Generally speaking, it would not be spoken in a general home program or even in a Sunday feast lecture, because these are something, this is called rasa. or Rasik. And when we enter the Rasik Vaishnava domain, then such explanations would be found. Otherwise, it would be impossible to simply hear it on any other, or on any other normal speaking of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Nor I would say that I have heard since my childhood many different lectures on Srimad-Bhagavatam, even spoken by some professional speakers that have been speaking for many years. Those who are very famous in India. But once I came across the explanations of the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's or the Rupanugas, I was just in awe. I was in shock. I was just amazed, because I've never heard such an explanation of the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam as explained by these acharyas, which I'm going to share with you today, which I have taken into my heart and which I relish so much. And whenever when we get a chance, and when we advance by the mercy of Guru Gauranga, we should be actually, when we are chanting the holy names, the Mahamantra, etc., then we should be actually meditating on these, each and every word of such verses, and that way we will actually get darshan of Golok Vrindavan. We will get the meaning. Even if we don't get the darshan, we will get a certain amazing enlightenment which is indescribable. And that is something that you would only have to taste yourself. Supposing if somebody asks that how does gulab jamun, can you describe gulab jamun? Then I can describe only to a certain extent. Oh, it is a round reddish ball, and it is very fragrant, and it is very tasty, and on the outside it is reddish maroonish, but when you take a bite from the inside, it is whitish or beige in color. And all these explanations, one can write a whole chapter, one can write a whole book, one can write a whole encyclopedia on gulab jamun. But in order to completely understand gulab jamun, one will actually hear about it. That's okay. After hearing about it, do something. Then you pick it up when you get the opportunity. Try to find it. Find a nice, genuine gulab jamun made in genuine ghee with genuine ingredients, and then taste it. And then you will say, ah, now I understand what gulab jamun is. So certain things one has to experience, and the method of experience is being explained by our guru, sadhus, and shastras, by those who are in our wonderful parampara, those who have experienced this. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti jnanina tattva darshina. One should surrender, ask questions in a very humble mood, and serve those Vaishnavas, those who are self-realized souls, so that they can impart us this transcendental knowledge. So this is something that is imparted. It is not something that we can obtain on our own. And once we have that information, we can pursue it. It depends on how serious, how sincere we are. What is our need? It's like, I have given this example many times. Some people, when you ask a child, hey, what do you want to do? The father is asking, oh, dad, I'll just pass school, and then after that, I'll get a job. I'll work in McDonald's, or I'll just get a job, a minimum wage job. I'm okay with that. All my friends are doing that. So that's what that students or that boys or girls inspiration is. But somebody else is being asked, what do you want to? Oh, I want to become a bachelor's and get a job in an office. And then so be it. Whatever their goals are. Somebody says, no. I want to not only finish my bachelor's, but I want to do my master's. And then after master's, I want to become get involved in getting a doctorate. And even after doctorate, there are so many other programs that keep on enhancing the knowledge, the field of knowledge. Similarly, spiritual life is like that. Mahaprabhu has said in the Sistastakam, in the very first, Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. This Krishna consciousness is a Ambudhi. Ambudhi means an ocean. And what kind of an ocean? It is Ananda. It is an ocean of bliss. Ambudhi Vardhanam. Vardhanam means it keeps on increasing. Vardhan means to increase, to nourish. So Krishna consciousness is something that Krishna consciousness itself will nourish Krishna consciousness. Bhakti is being nourished by Krishna consciousness. Bhakti is nourished by Bhakti itself. So this is the quality of Bhakti. It is an unfathomable ocean. So let us dive deep into the different components of this verse. So in this particular verse, Janmadi Yasya, the first two words, this Adi means here, our Acharyas explained, means the Adi Rasa, the mellow. And I'd explained the different rasas that are there. There are the relationships that one can have in this material world. We can categorize, there are 5 different relationships that we can have. What are those relationships? The relationship of neutrality, the relationship of dasya, or basically of servitorship, the relationship of fraternity, friendship, the relationship of parenthood, and the relationship of madhurya rasa, or the conjugal love, the lover and the beloved, like a husband and wife, or the lover and beloved relationship. So just like a neighbor, you can give the example as a neutral relationship. Sometimes, especially here in North America, we have so many neighbors next to us, staying there, houses, but none of the neighbors actually come to our house. We see them in the front yard. Sometimes in the summer, we are cutting our grass and we say, "Hi, John. Hey, hi, Mary. Hey, Sam. How are you? Oh, nice weather today, huh?" So like that, we have a talk. We just do hi, and we are happy seeing each other. But there is no real service. We see the same guy at the bus stop. We see the same person in the office elevator, or at the train station. And because we are familiar with them, we are happy to see them. Sometimes we don't see them. So the next day we see, "Oh, I didn't see you yesterday on the same train, same time. Oh yeah, my son was sick, so I took the day off." So, that is a neutral relationship. You simply are happy seeing that person, just like yogis. The yogis are happy just by taking the darshan of Paramatma when they are perfected. And when they see that they get the darshan of the expansion of Sri Krishna, Paramatma, they are very happy and they are content with that. But there is no such further development in that relationship except darshan, or except seeing them. There is no service to them. There is no acceptance of service, or no, there is no rendering of service as such in that relationship of a yogi, between a yogi who has seen Krishna in the heart of everyone, who has attained that perfection. And then there is that other relationship of servitorship, or known as the dasyaras. We have it here in this material world because all these relationships exist in the spiritual world. The spiritual world is the kaya, or the original object, and this material world is the perverted reflection of the kaya. It is a shadow. The original object has to exist in order for a shadow to exist. Supposing if I keep my hand like this, and on the wall, if you see a shadow, because the object is there, the shadow is there. The moment the object is not there, the shadow will not exist. So because that is the reason that the original Supreme Lord's original abodes, Vaikuntha Lokas, Golok Dham, Krishna Loka, are the source of everything, and Krishna is the source of everything. And the relationships that are existing there of the neutrality, because even the yogis, they do get a position in the Brahma Jyoti, which is at the borderline between the spiritual world and the material world. So they do get an opportunity to feel that Brahma Jyoti, to experience that Brahma Jyoti. But in the Brahma Jyoti, they do not see the personalities of the devotees. They do not see the personality of Godheads. They do not see the avatars of Krishna. And they obviously, if you cannot see somebody, you cannot serve. I have explained that with different examples. You can only serve a live person. You can only serve somebody who is a person. Like supposing even in a normal relationship, somebody comes to your house and you're very happy. You welcome them in your house with a smile, and you shake their hand, and then you offer them a nice sofa seat, and then you offer them a nice drink like a sharbat, or maybe you offer them some juice, and then if it is lunchtime or dinner time, you offer them some nice prasadam. You offer them lunch and dinner, and because of you offered them something with a selfless bhav, or with a selfless motive. You, as the renderer of the service, gets pleasure, and the person who receives your service gets pleasure. It is reciprocatory. So, and that is only possible where there is personalism. So when there is Mayavads who believe that there is no God, or I am God, and everything is Brahmasmi, there is no form, everything is Nirgun, and we are seeing all forms due to Maya. There is no Krishna, there is no Shiva, there is no table, there is no chair, there is no world. Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. They say that, they translate that according to their own whims, and then they are trapped in it, and they cannot do anything about it. And that is the reason they are bereft of seva. And seva is the only way, that is the dharma of the soul. As we have explained, some of the fundamentals I'm repeating again, so that we can understand this verse of the Srimad-Bhagavatam in a much better light. This particular reciprocation is very important in personalism. In impersonalism, you cannot serve, there is no question of service. And the dharma, or the constitutional position of a particular substance or a particular entity, is called dharma, which is eternal. That will never change in the past, it will never change now, and it will never change in the future. It is absolute. It is an absolute truth. It is satyam param. That indeed, that particular quality or that particular nature is called dharma, and the nature of the soul is seva, service, and bliss, happiness. Ananda and seva, you cannot separate that from the soul, whether the soul is spiritual or not. Sometimes, because the covering of Maya, a lot of majority of the people, who have not even understood the ABCs of spirituality, even they are looking for happiness. Is it not true? Whether it is somebody who is the most gross materialist, somebody who is the most atheistic person in the world, but that person is still looking for happiness. So because that is the nature of the jiva, that is the nature of the soul. And how he is finding happiness, that person? Through his own different means, according to his understanding, according to the education, that the association that person has received. So some persons think that, oh, I will find happiness by building school, colleges, hospitals, giving in charity. I get some satisfaction, and I'm helping the poor. So they feel that that is something that will give them, through those services, they feel a happiness. So service one must do, whether one is an atheist, whether a human being, or one is a bird. Even the bird is flying 100 times in a day when they gives born to the newborn eggs, when the little fledglings come out. That little bird, a sparrow, you might have seen, how small that sparrow is, and is flying 100 times to the nest, bringing in little worms, bringing in little grains to feed the little babies. They have their mouths open, and every little baby is being fed by the beak. And why is that bird doing that? Because that seva is inherent in that soul who is present in that bird. And through that service, that jiva as a sparrow is getting some happiness. But obviously, all kinds of happinesses are curtailed as long as they are directed towards impermanent objects and impermanent goals. But if our service and objective is something that is permanent, which Yasdev is talking about, Satyam Param Dhimahi, Sri Krishna, who is the Satyam Para? Last time we explained in the last example, the theory of relativity of Albert Einstein, that what is relative? Truth can be relative. Like when I gave you all the example that if somebody makes a statement that my neighbor is very rich, so somebody may be wondering, why are you justifying that? Oh, he lives in a $100,000 condominium. But for somebody who is living in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood, and all the houses in that neighborhood are at least on an average priced at $1 million, to that person it is not a very rich person, the person staying in a $100,000 condo. So similarly, the point being that there are truths that are relative and there are truths that are absolute. Absolute truths are never subject to change, and Krishna is the absolute truth. He is the Satyam Param Dhimahi. And when we dedicate our seva, because the soul must do seva, regardless, one may be an atheist or not, one may be below, you still have to go to office, you still have to listen to your boss. Yes sir, it will be done tomorrow. No, I want it today on my table. Yes sir, I will work over that, I will get it done today, the project will be complete today. You might be a very big businessman, multi-millionaire, but your customer, when he comes and he says, you know what, I have another competitor of yours who is willing to make this within 1 week. Can you have this ready? I need this sample very soon. I need to launch it. Oh, then he's your boss. You may be a multi-millionaire, but he's actually giving you the orders. to place so that your business can flourish, the customer. So service we must do regardless of where we are, in what part of the creation, whether material or spiritual. That is the seva, and through seva we receive ananda. And that whole ananda, the complete ananda, the unlimited ananda or bliss is only obtained when we direct our services or seva to the unlimited personality that is not temporary like this material world. That is the main principle of Satyam Param Dhimahi, which Vyasadeva is actually expressing in the last two words. But also, I wanted to touch again some of the deeper meanings. So, Janmadhyasya, so these relationships that I was earlier talking about, they all arise from Sri Krishna. Because Sri Krishna has the relationship as a neutral relationship with the yogis, as the Paramatma, he gives darshan. And Krishna is happy as when the yogis are happy, because that's what their level is. So Krishna says, no problem. If you want to have my darshan as a Paramatma, I will certainly do so. So Janmadi, that rasa of neutral relationship arises from Sri Krishna by his will. And then somebody who wants to serve Sri Krishna, like, I'm your servant, Krishna. You're my eternal master, which is the Dasya Ras. Vaikuntha Lok is full of Dasya Ras. That is predominantly Dasya. And in Vaikuntha Loka, the topmost devotee that I can think of right now, as I've explained even before, is Hanumanji Maharaj. Even Tulsidas, in his Hanuman Chalisa, there is a nice line that says, Sada Raho Raghupati ke Dasa. They do not say Sada Raho Raghupati ke Mitra, ya Sada Raho Raghupati ke Sakha, ya Sada Raho Raghupati ki Bharya. He doesn't, those kind of words are not being utilized, because Hanumanji Maharaj he relishes that position of being the Das. And he has that relationship with Lord Ramachandra, and like that, in all the Narayan Lokas and Vaikuntha Lokas, like the devotees in South India, in the Sri Sampradaya, like, in Tirupati Balaji, it is full of Vaikuntha Rasa, it is full of Dasya Rasa. It's all very immaculate, it's all very perfect, like a Das, like a perfect servant. There is no mistakes. They are so perfect in their services. Unlike Vraj, in Vraj there can be a million mistakes, but that's a different story, which I will probably incorporate in this lecture itself. But like that, you have to be perfect when it comes to Vaikuntha. When it comes to the rasa of Dasya Rasa, one has to be extremely careful, and there is awe and reverence in that mood. So we have to be in that rasa, Janmadhyasya, that also rasa comes from Krishna. So Krishna says, some devotees like Hanumanji Maharaj and all devotees, oh, I want to see you, in your Lord Ramachandra's form, or I want to see you in your Vishnu form, or in your Narayan form, and I want to serve you in that form. So Krishna says, no problem. Nandan Krishna, who is Janmadi, from whom everything emanates, he grants that wish of that devotee as well, to have a relationship of Dasya Rasa in Vaikuntha Rasa. And then there are some devotees who want to become a friend of Krishna. So Krishna, who is also within the heart, realizes that. And if that strong desire is there, and that inclination is there, and that enthusiasm is there to have Krishna as a friend, Janmadhyasya, even that rasa emanates from Sri Krishna, Nandan, who is willing to accept you as his friend, as his sakhas. In Golok Vrindavan, there are so many sakhas of Sri Krishna, Sudam, Sribal, Subal, etc., Stoka Krishna, Vishalaksha, all these different devotees of all these different friends of Krishna, Madhu Mangal, they are there. They are playing with Krishna. They are patting Krishna. They are even sometimes grabbing Krishna's lunch, and they are fighting over picnic lunches, where Lord Ramachandra cannot do that. As a matter of fact, when Shabri tried to give a half-eaten berry to Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman was infuriated. Do you know who he is? You are giving something that is half-eaten to the Vaikuntha Adipati, Lord Rama. Of course, that is one of the exceptions that Lord Ramachandra had in the relationship with Shabri. And he calmed Lakshman down that she's giving it with love. She just wanted to make sure that the berries are sweet and they are not sour or bitter. And it is with great love. She first wanted to taste it and then offer it to me so that I should get the sweetest of the sweetest berries. But such cases are very, very rare in Vaikuntha. That kind of bhav that Shabri had is more or less the bhav of Vraj, where Krishna doesn't mind eating even a half-eaten laddu grabbed from the mouth of Madhumangal. And they are fighting over the last laddu. Oh, it is mine. No, it is mine. Oh, my mother gave it to me, so it is mine. No, 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 no. But your mother loves me more than you, so this laddu is mine. So like that they are fighting. And by the time in the fight, then the Madhumangal puts it in his mouth, or before he can actually gulp it, Krishna grabs it from his mouth and takes it, half-eaten laddu, and he relishes that laddu. So that is Sakhya Ras. That is Janmadiyasya. That rasa also emanates from Nanda Nandan Krishna. And then some devotees who would love Krishna, to be their child. Vatsalya Ras. Krishna says, yes, you can become my mother, you can become my uncle, you can become my aunt, you can become my grandmotherly figure. I am willing to, become your child. Vatsalya Ras. Pushti Marg is full of Vatsalya Ras. The Panth of Sri Vallabhachari Pad, they are most of those devotees, they are 99.5 or 98%, 99%. They're in the Vatsalya Ras, the worshippers of Srinathji. They consider Srinathji, the 7-year-old Krishna, as their little darling boy, and they serve him. And that also ras. How did that happen? Janmadi Yasya. That rasa also emanated from Sri Krishna to fulfill the desire of the devotees. And then the fifth rasa, the Madhurya rasa, the rasas of a beloved, just like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, deep in love, a husband and wife, deep in love with each other, that romance, those fights, etc., the romantic fights, etc., that is called the conjugal rasa or the Madhurya rasa. And that also is Janmadi Yasya. That comes from Sri Krishna Nanda Nandan, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. It emanates from him for those devotees who would like to accept him. Like when Krishna, when Lord Ramachandra was actually passing through the Dandakarnya forest, and those rishis were meditating in the Dandakarnya one, and they felt a certain ecstasy by just looking at the beautiful Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Ramachandra, understanding their desires in their next life, when he says, when I will come in the original form as Sri Krishna, you will get an opportunity to get birth in Vraj as gopis. Just because I have taken a vow of Ekapatni, I cannot accept anybody else except Sita. And there is a limitation. There's a Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram. But Sri Krishna has no limitation. Nanda Nandan has no limitation. He's unlimited. So those devotees who wanted to accept him as his lover, as a husband, Krishna fulfilled those desires. And that is one of the reasons that Chir Haran, or the stealing of the garments of the gopis, took place. Some people are poor fund of knowledge. They criticize Sri Krishna. They criticize because they don't know that Janma Karma Chimit Divyam. Whatever Krishna's activities, whenever Krishna appears, those are highly, very, very divya. They are transcendental in nature. So it was the degree of surrender that he wanted to see in those girls of Vrindavan. They wanted him to be the husband. So Krishna tested them to the utmost by taking the clothes away and asking them to come out and pick up. And the bhav is that how can one, if you want one to be a husband, then how can you be ashamed of the husband? From practical angles, we see that husband and wife, when they're staying in the same room, there is no shame even when they're changing clothes, etc. It is a natural phenomenon. So same thing has been, that is one of the meanings of the Chir Haran Vastra, but there are other meanings also. But just to give you so that desire, there were so many gopis who had desired that when the young girls, when they saw Lord Ramachandra, even in the Swayamvar of when he came for Sita Swayamvar, and all the girlfriends of Sita, and even the sisters, etc., the maid servants of Sita and all, they just fell in love with Lord Ramachandra. Just looking at his beauty, they were mesmerized. And they were also internally thinking, I wish we had a husband like Lord Ramachandra. And let Sri Krishna fulfills their desires of those devotees of Janakpuri, of Mithila Desh, all those young maiden girls who came in the next life as gopis in Raj Mandal. And like that, there are so many, even the Shrutis and the Vedas, they did a lot of tapasya. And they did so much austerity so that they could obtain Sri Krishna Nanda Nandan. So then they were also given. They are known as the Shruti Chara Gopis. The gopis, the form of the Shrutis, mean the Vedas, personified. They got the opportunity to do their severe penances to be born in Vraj, and they became gopis. So and then they got the opportunity for the Madhurya Rasa, or the conjugal love, the love. So that is Janmadhyasya. Those, all these relationships that are there, Krishna is the source of all the rasas. Now, there is also a ras known as Adi Ras, or the original ras. And that original ras, which is considered the paramour or the topmost in the fifth rasa, which is conjugal ras or Madhurya ras, is known as Shringar ras. Please try to understand this. I have some Rasik Vaishnavas present, so I will go a little bit in detail about this. But those who cannot, that's okay also, just by listening, because the occasion has arisen, I'm speaking. Otherwise, generally, I would not be speaking this in an open forum. So this Adi Ras is the Shringar Ras. It is one of the rasas in conjugal rasa of Radha and Krishna, especially in the Kunjas, in the Nikunjas. And in Shringar Rasa, this, we in the Mangalarti, those who are in ISKCON, they should know the Mangalarti by heart. What is that verse that has that Shringar word coming in? Shri Vigraha Aradhana Nityanana Shringar Tan Mandir Marjanado Yuktascha Bhaktams Chaninjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charnaravindam. I offer my Danvat pranams to those gurus, those Vaishnava Acharyas, who are none other than the servitors of Srimati Radharani. And what are they doing? For the pleasure of Radha and Krishna, they are constantly arranging some kind of Shringar, making wonderful arrangements for their loving pleasures. For their pleasure, they are decorating the kunja, they are offering the different fruits, different flowers, different dresses according to the time, according to the season. According to the season, they are offering hot foods in cold season, warm foods in cold season, and cold foods in hot season, and even clothing is of very, very different variety. If you want to learn something about this particular Shringar Ras, one should study the devotees who are advanced in the Pushtimar. They are amazing. The way they serve Radha Krishna or Radha Srinathji for his sukha. The way they serve is even they dress him in such a way according to the season, according to the time of the day. When, for example, I remember my grandmother, who was a very, very wonderful Vaishnavi, she used to change the dress 4 times a day. She woke up at 5 in the morning. So Mangalarti, one dress. We also have that in ISKCON, no doubt. And then we have Shringar. After that, our dress doesn't change until the evening time, which is Shayan, which is all right. Nothing wrong with that. But in the Pushtimarg and all and some of the more nuances, the dresses changes about 7-8 times a day. They change according to the activity of Krishna. So after Mangalarti, when Mangalarti, Krishna is wearing simply a langoti, or simply a very thin towel, because he is supposed to be given a nice bath by Mother Yashoda. So he has to be in a little towel, not some exotic dresses with heavy ornaments or anything like that. There is no peacock feather, nothing like that, no flute in Mangalarti. So these are all the different, because he's about to take a bath. That is the Mangalarti. So the bhav is there. After Mangalarti, then he is dressed up nicely. So that is Shringar Rasa. He is adorned after taking a bath with the silken robes and different, tilak and all different decorations. And even the gopis come and decorate Sri Krishna, and even Radharani also decorates Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna, even in the kunjas later on during the afternoon or even at night, in the late night or the early morning rasa, there is a rasa where Radha and Krishna, along with the Astasakis and Manjaris, are actually in the kunjas. And at that time, there is so many different services and Shringar that is needed. And after that, the Shringar Ras, then again Krishna is changed into a different dress for cow herding. That is called Gwal. And then like that, and there is a separate dress for Bhog. Krishna, when he's at home and when he's eating Mother Yashoda, then changes his, because he makes the clothes dirty. So he's given some nice white clothes so that whatever falls is easily detected, and Mother Yashoda can clean it up. Instead of putting in the wonderful silken robes, he's given some plain clothes. So all these, and even the pichoy or the background changes. So that is all a part of Shringar Rasa. Just to give, and then in the evening, they are changed when at the time of sleeping, and the final Shayanarti, they want to be in comfortable clothes. They should not be very heavily adorned with many ornaments and many things, very something like how we sleep in very comfortable pajamas or kurtas, or shorts, here in the Western countries. That's what we, something that is very, very, very comfortable. So same thing is the sukha of Krishna, Shringaras. So Janmadi Yasya, that also arises actually in a Madhurya Rasa. As Shringar Rasa or Madhurya Rasa is considered the topmost, because all the other rasas are included in Madhurya Rasa. Therefore, Janmadi Yasya, which is the Adi Rasa, which is the Shringar Rasa, that is what is also explained by our Vaishnava Acharyas. And then in the next word, Anvayad Itaratascha. So Anvayat Itaratascha means the direct and indirect knowledge. So we explained that in the first session. But here, from the Rasik perspective, what does that direct and indirect mean? This direct and indirect means the union and separation of Radha Krishna. Please try to understand that. Again, I understand it's a complicated subject, but being Purushottam Mas, Padmini Ekadashi, that bonus is here, so we might as well grab it. So, yeah, Anvayaditaratascha, actually the basic meaning of Anvayaditara means Krishna knows everything or creates everything directly and indirectly. If we read the meaning in Srimad-Bhagavatam, that is the standard meaning that has been explained. But the inner nuances of this meaning, this verse can be explained for several months, just the very first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. It is so deep. The more advanced the devotee, the more rasik the devotee, the more that devotee can churn that pure milk into makhan, into butter, and that butter into more sweet items, different barfis and so many different items that can be made out of that makhan. That it is still the same base as the milk, but it is churned and churned and churned and churned, and it has been presented in such wonderful ways that it gives us more and more nectar in it. So this particular nectarian meaning of this word Anvayaditaratascha means, the standard meaning is Krishna creates everything and he knows everything directly and indirectly. Krishna creates the spiritual worlds through Lord Balram. So that is in one sense it is a direct creation. But Krishna creates this material world through Maya. So that is an indirect way that Krishna creates. So itaratascha, anvayad itaratascha, direct and indirect. Krishna is knowing, he knows everything directly and indirectly. He knows everything. That is why he is known as Sarvagya. He is known as omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. So omniscient part of Krishna he knows everything, he is Sarvagya. So similarly, here the Rasik meaning of Anvayad Itaratascha means the direct and indirect. Means the direct means the union of Radha and Krishna, and the separation of Radha and Krishna. And those who are Rasik Vaishnavas know that separation and union, separation actually enhances the union rasa. And to understand that, I can give you a very simple example. Like sometimes when we are away from home, let's say somebody is a student and he has to go to college. He lives on campus and he's away from mommy and daddy, and he has to go for the entire semester. He's away from the home, and then when he comes home, right from far from the garage or from the front door, when the parents are picking the son up at the station or at the bus stop, and immediately they are screaming and there is tears of joy and hugging and everything, because they have not seen each other for 6 months, as an example. Due to the separation, that union is even more sweet. It is even more what do you say, intense. So separation is the cause of intense union. This is a very, very important principle, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnavas have understood this, and they have expressed it. Is, as a matter of fact, the specialty of Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Vipralamba. So for example, one of our acharyas, the Gurudev of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Lord Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj, the Param Gurudev of Srila Prabhupada, he in his pranam mantra, what is his pranam mantra? His pranam mantra is Nama Gaur Kishoraya, Sakshat Vairagya Murte, Vipralamba Rasambode, Padam Bhojayate Namaha. I offer my Danvat pranams to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Nama Gaur Kishore Sakshat Vairagya Murte. And he was of such great, he had austerities and he was so humble and he was so austere, Vairagya. He was the embodiment of Vairagya. He lived in such simple, humble circumstances that he hardly had any clothes on him, and he used to stay in the crematorium like Shivji and chant in the crematorium. He used to stay in places where most people could not even believe because he did not want to be disturbed in his bhajan. He would go to such reclusive places where people would be scared to go so he could do his bhajan nicely. So Vipralamba, and what was his Rasambodha? His great ocean of ecstasy or rasa was Vipralamba. Vipralamba was, he used to worship Radha Krishna in the bhav of Vipralamba bhav, service and separation. So this Adi Rasa of Sringar Rasa, of Madhurya Rasa, of Anvayaditaratascha means direct and indirect, means when there is union of Radha and Krishna. So most Vaishnavas, they have service related to the union of Radha and Krishna. But there is the specialty of the Gaudiya Vaishnava is that their specialty is there even in separation of Radha and Krishna, especially in Viyogini Radha, when Radha is alone without the company of Krishna. The Manjaris and the Gopis, they render the highest service to Radharani, and that is considered the highest of the highest of the highest of the services that Sri Krishna himself appreciates. Just like supposing, if simple example, let's say there is a couple who is your neighbor, and the husband has to travel on business for a very long time and his wife is alone. So if the neighbor's wife, who is like an elderly sister, takes care of her, checks on her, goes to the house, even invites her, come have dinner with us today, and if you need anything, I will take you, don't worry, your husband will be back soon, and anytime you need us, that is a great solace. It is a great support. Very, very much. It's such a great support that it is very much appreciated by that person who is alone at home. And it is also appreciated by that husband who has left home for some business. Which is, and when he comes to know, oh, the neighbor's wife helped so much. Oh, she was there practically 2-3 hours a day, and she was bringing things, taking shopping, doing this, taking the care of the needs and everything. She did not make her feel lonely. How much appreciative that husband will be for that family who is the next door neighbor. So similarly, the highest appreciation in Radha Dasyam is especially when Radha Rani is in separation of Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna creates that separation purposefully so that when the Milan happens, it is even more glorious. It is even more, it goes to newer heights of prema. It goes to newer and newer zeniths out of separation. So this is a very, very important point of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which is incomparable to any other. All Vaishnava Sampradayas have something special. No doubt, it's a specialty. And one of the specialties of Gaudiya Vaishnavism is Vipralamba Seva. Seva in separation. So this is Anvayad Itaratascha. So not only the gopis and the Manjaris in Madhurya serve Radha and Krishna when Radha and Krishna in union, like they do the different rasas in Shringar, when especially when they're in union in the different kunjas during the different seasons. Like in Shravan, there is the Jhula or the Hindola services. So all that Hindola services, Radha and Krishna are seated on a swing. And the swing is decorated with dry fruits and sometimes with beautiful fruits and green fruits and red fruits and all different kinds of leaves and arrangement. That is called Shringar Ras. That is one of the Shringar Rasas of the Shravan Hindola or the Shravan Jhula. And at that time, the union is there. And union, there is, everybody's happy. The gopis are happy. The Manjaris are happy. They are serving Radha and Krishna, in that Shravan Jhulas, etc. Or it could be the middle of the night in the Vamshivat, where Krishna is enjoying the Madhurya Rasa with Radharani, and they need service. All different kinds of rasas are involved in it when the services are there in the Shringar. So all the services are performed. So union and separation. So that is the meaning of Anvayad Itara, the direct and indirect, the union and separation of Radha Krishna. And then further in this verse, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave, it refers to Sukadev Goswami. So Adi Kavai, of course, the general meaning that we had explained is Adi Kavi is Lord Brahma. Krishna gave the knowledge of creation to Lord Brahma, right? Through his flute. We had explained that through the Kam Gayatri mantra in the beginning of creation. This Brahma was very fortunate that he got the glimpse of Golok Vrindavan, and he was given the Kam Gayatri, and then Krishna through the transcendental sound vibration gave him that knowledge, how to create the material worlds, and also gave him a glimpse of the spiritual world and glimpse of the pure bhakti. Krishna gave him that. He imparted Janmadiyasya. He gave him that information. He gave him the cause of all the cause of bhaktis, and he gave him all that transcendental knowledge. So Hriday Adi Kavi. So that Adi Kavi also is Lord Brahma. But here our Rasikacharya has explained that Adi Kavi also refers to Sukadeva Goswami, who is the speaker of Srimad-Bhagavatam. The second speaker, the first speaker of Srimad-Bhagavatam, if you all remember, who is it? Lord Shiva. When he was speaking it to Parvati Mata, and then the parrot, Sukadev, in the form of a parrot, Radharani's parrot, was listening. And then he ran when Lord Shiva opened his eyes, and you all remember the Katha, right? And he went into Vyasadev's wife's mouth. And then when he came out, he became out as Sukadeva Goswami. And then he narrated the Srimad-Bhagavatam after learning Srimad-Bhagavatam from his father, Vyasadeva himself. But because he spoke Srimad-Bhagavatam so nicely and explained it so nicely, so one of the bhav of Adi Kavi is Sukadeva Goswami, who is the Adi Kavi. Adi means the first, and Kavi means the poet or the reciter of the poet. So all these rasas are included in Krishna. He is Rasa Brahma. He is the source of all the, and he is inspired the heart of Sukadeva Goswami, who is the first Kavi. When Sukadeva Goswami would not come out from the mother's womb, Krishna personally came. Vyasadeva coerced him, please come out, it is time, it is troubling to your mother, please come out of your mother's womb. And at that time, he does not come out because he is afraid of falling into Maya. Then Sri Krishna comes himself and he assures him that you won't fall into Maya. And actually, by the mercy of Sri Krishna, he also received transcendental knowledge. So he is also known as Adi Kavi. So all these rasas are there in Sri Krishna, and Krishna has imparted. So here Sukadeva Goswami is also can be considered in this particular two words of Adi Kavi. Instead of Lord Brahma, we can consider Sukadeva Goswami as the Adi Kavi. Then Muhyanti Yasureya. We went through that also in detail. That great devotees like Brahma ji, Shiv ji, Indra, many demigods, Devi Devatas, they are also put into illusion. They cannot understand this deeper meaning. It is not possible. Muhyanti Yatsurya. When we explained there were 2-3 other leelas about the Brahma Vimohan Leela, how Lord Brahma was disillusioned, doubting Krishna, and he kidnapped the calves and all the cowherd boys in Kamyavan, and how Indra, considering Krishna to be an ordinary boy, showered torrential rains and thunderbolts, and how Krishna protected all the Vrajvasis with the Govardhan Leela. Like that, all these different, so that is Muhyanti Yatsurya. Even after coming to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, even after coming to hearing about this, even this Rasik Katha, sometimes we doubt. Even devotees are put into illusion. And only when we get the full kripa of Radharani, we will never be able to understand the internal, the rasa of union and separation. We may be doing a lot of jap, we may be doing a lot of tap, we may be reading a lot of scriptures, Vedas, we may become patanam, yajanam, we may become experts in all that. But to understand the Madhurya rasa or the Shringar rasa, Muhyanti Yasudaya, even the greatest of the devotees are also put into delusion. What to talk about demigods, etc. And Tejovari Mridam, Yatha Vinimayo, the interaction of fire, water, and earth. Here it means, as stated in the Brahma Gayatri, Om Bhur Bhasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat, that it is the interaction of all the powers of Sri Krishna, the energies of Sri Krishna, like Krishna so explains in the Bhagavad Gita that these different energies. Mana, buddhi, ahankar, bhumi, ana, nala, vayu, earth, water, air, fire, ether, and mana, buddhi, ahankar. These are my 8 separated energies. So even in this Brahma Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhuvasva Tatsa Vitur Varenyam Bhargo, Devasya. Bhargo means is different energies, separated energies. That's one of the meanings in the Brahma Gayatri that most people are understanding. But Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, I also explained last time that Bhargo means Devasya in this particular verse means it is Sri Krishna himself, even in the Brahma Gayatri, which we also commonly known as the Surya Gayatri. I had explained that a little bit in detail in the last session of the prior session, that Krishna Surya Saman. Krishna is the original sun, and Krishna is the king of everything. So just like the planet Surya or the sun is the king of all the planets, so is Krishna is the king of everything. He is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So here our acharyas explain the meaning of Brahma Gayatri, where Bhargo Devasya, the word Devasya means Sri Krishna, and Bhargo means the energies. So here Tejovari Mridam actually is the common meaning of the energies, the separated energies of Sri Krishna, the material energies. But here Bhargo means Sri Radharani. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. I meditate on Radha and Krishna. So those who are second initiated in ISKCON, I have mentioned that before, we chant 7 Gayatris. The first Gayatri is the Brahma Gayatri. And then we have 2 Guru Gayatris, we have 2 Gauranga Gayatris, and we have 2 Krishna Gayatris. So the first Gayatri, which is the common one that everybody, the whole world knows, actually they're not supposed to, but it has become a common thing. Om Bhur Bhuvasva. This Brahma Gayatri, most people, if you ask them the meaning, they will say it is that we are asking for intelligence to the sun god. Because sun god, even from astrological terms, we see that ones whose sun line is very powerful, then he has got a very good kundali. If the sun line is powerful, then all the other planets can be weak. But if the sun line is powerful amongst all, because the kundali comprises of these planets, right? It is a study of the planets, the chart. That's what it is. So, but once Surya is very powerful, the other planets cannot have much effect for somebody who has a very powerful Surya. But here, our acharyas have very nicely explained. I had actually, on the request of one of the devotee Matajis, sent that lecture that I have given in Belgium, Radhadesh, on this Gayatri mantra. It was related to one of the verses in Srimad-Bhagavatam. I had sent it, I think, about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. It was in the Bhagavad Katha group. So I don't know how many of you all had a chance to listen to that. So because of the timing, I will skip that part by going into the details of the Brahma Gayatri. You can listen to that recording, please. But the main essence is those who are chanting, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas, even when we are chanting Om Bhur Bhuvasva Tatsa Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyoyo Na Prachodaya. That Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi means I fix my intelligence upon Sri Sri Radha Krishna, because that Bhargo is the internal energy of Sri Krishna, and Krishna is that sun. He is the Savita. Just like, when a mother says, "Arey beta, tu to mera Chanda Baba hai, tu to mera Suraj hai, you are my son." So he is not the sun, but he is like the expression is. It is the expression of a mother that you are so powerful like the sun. Like even like Lord Ganesha's pranam mantra. What is that? Vakratunda Mahakarya Surya Koti Samatprabha. Your effulgence is like millions and millions of suns. Lord Ganesh in his pranam mantra. Vakratunda Mahakarya Surya Koti Samatprabha Nirvignam Kurme Devo Subhakarya Susarvada. So here he is compared to the effulgence of millions and millions of suns. So similarly, this sun, this Savita, the word Savita grammatically speaking means sun. But here, like I said, one who are able to churn that milk into sweet yogurt, that sweet yogurt into butter, into makhan, and from makhan to so many different varieties of sweets. Those Vaishnavas are given that opportunity to go dive deep into these words and their meanings. So that is the meaning. So Tejovari Mridam here, actually it applies to Radha Krishna in this particular first verse of of Srimad-Bhagavatam Janmadiyasya Yatvanvaya Ditartascha Artheshu Abhigya Swarat Tejo Vari Vidam Yatha Vinimayo. So this is also here Vyasadeva is praying to Radhika, Sri Radha, the internal energy, the Bhargo, the power of Krishna. Without understanding this, we cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is something very deep. Sometimes there is separation between Radha and Krishna. Like everybody, even the professional speakers, they speak about the Ras Leela. But what is the Ras Leela? Have they really understood? Have the people understood whom they are speaking to? This Ras Leela is when Krishna disappears from the Rasa and then they sing the Gopi Geet. And then there is separation. So this separation of Gopi Geet is considered to be one of the pinnacle separations from Sri Krishna, from Thakurji, that the gopis are feeling, especially Radharani. So sometimes there is separation, sometimes in the Ras Leela there is union, and then when Krishna disappears, there is separation, there is Vipralamba. So separation and union is a very is a specialty of Raj, which is very, very, very privy and that is only given to Vrajvasis. That is because they have a very special kripa that they have received. Not everybody in the entire creation, including the Vaikunthas, have got that privilege, or they have got that opportunity of separation and union, and which enhances love to new crescendos, to new zeniths. So even when Radha and Krishna are apparently separated, Krishna is always with Radhika. So this is something that only Rasik Vaishnavas can understand. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in a very subtle way, in the second canto, fourth chapter, it is mentioned that Radhasya Swadhamani Brahmani Ramasyate Namaha. He is always with Radhika and all the gopis in his abode. Swadhamani. Swadhamani means Golok Vrindavan. Swadhamani means Vraj Mandal. But Radhasya has also different meanings, and the common meanings are explained. Even the word of Radharani doesn't appear in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is perhaps only one of the only places where the word Radhasya is being used in this particular verse of the second canto of the 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Brahma Samhita, there is a very nice verse that explains that Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavis Tabhirya Ya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhi Golokeva Nivasyati Akila Atma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Here Lord Brahma in his stuti says that this is the same Lord Brahma who was given Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave, who was given the transcendental knowledge in the beginning of creation to the Brahma Gayatri, through the Kam Gayatri, through Krishna's flute. And then he describes Golok Vrindavan. And in one of the descriptions of the spiritual world, in this verse, Brahmaji says that I offer my Danvat Pranams to Govinda, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead who is existing, who exists within the hearts of all. He's present everywhere, but he specifically resides in his Golok Dham, the original personality. His expansion is the one that actually expands in everybody's heart as Paramatma. But otherwise, he is actually never takes a step outside Vraj. Ekam padam na gacchati, out of Vrindavan. The Nandan, Yashodanandan Krishna, he never takes a step outside Golok Vrindavan. He resides in Golok Dhamna along with Sri Radha. And Radharani is the embodiment of his pleasure potency. She is the Hladini Shakti. Allah means joy, great joy or bliss. So Radharani is the Aladini Shakti of Sri Krishna. And she is actually the counterpart of his Swarupa, of his Kayas. She actually is, Radharani is non-different from Krishna, and Krishna is non-different from Radharani. And she is the epitome of transcendental rasa. So actually, the actual rasas of the Madhurya rasa, the source is Radharani. So Janmadiyasya here denotes Radharani, especially to the original Shringar ras or Madhurya ras. This is another meaning of this particular word Janmadiyasya, relating specifically to Sri Radha. And who is expert in 64 artistic qualities. And she is also accompanied by many Sakhis or Gopis who are her own Kaya views or expansions of her own body, and who are infused with blissful and spiritual rasa. All the Gopis, they're infused with their spiritual rasa. To that Govind, I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my pranams. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in this way, in this particular first verse, if we dive deeper, Satyam Param Dhimahi means Vyasdev is also meditating. The Acharyas are meditating. We meditate like this on that Satyam Param, which is Srimati Radharani and Krishna, Radha Krishna. Haribo. See, as we churn and churn and churn that Satyam Param Dhimahi, means actually Golok Vrindavan is the original dham of all dhams. And the Golok Vrindavan, the original deity in Golok Vrindavan is Radha Krishna. And from them, everything emanates. Janmadiyasya, including the Madhurya Rasa. Then therefore, they are Satyam Param Dhimahi. For the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya, they are the topmost truth. Satyam Param, Satyam Param, Satyam Param and Dhimahi. They're always, those Acharyas, they're always meditating. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas are always meditating on the services of Radha and Krishna, on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, in the separation of Radha and Krishna, and in the union of Radha and Krishna. We meditate on Krishna with Srimati Radharani is what Satyam Param Dhimahi means also in this particular verse. No rasa can exist without Radhika. Therefore, Radharani and Krishna are conjugal. They are amorous. Therefore, Janmadiyasya. From this conjugal Radha and Krishna, from this Jugala Jodi, Radha Krishna, Madhurya Ras, the sweet conjugal love emanates, it manifests. And without Radhika's presence, Krishna is like, Acharya says, he's like Nirvishesh Brahma. Even the yogis can get him through meditation, they can get the darshan of Paramatma. We don't want that kind of darshan. We don't care about that. If we don't have Radharani, then Krishna is like Nirvishesh Brahma. He's without any juice. He's without any ras. He's drained out without Radharani. This is a bhav. There is no rasa in him at all. That is what they feel. And when he is with let's say, even with his other consort in his different avatars, like Lord Ramachandra is with his Sita, or Lord Narayana is with Lakshmi, or even when in Dwarka Satyabhama ji and Rukmini ji, when Dwarkadish is with his Patranis in Dwarka, like Rukmini ji, Satyabhama ji, Jambati ji, etc. Only a percentage of that rasa is present. Of that Madhurya rasa, it is not complete. Actually, if you remember, we had explained that in the Hera Panchami festival when we were speaking on the Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra. Those of you who had attended that session. So even if all the gopis are there, but if Radharani is not there, that rasa cannot be complete. That rasa is complete as far as Krishna is concerned when Radharani is present. Without her presence, for him, life is lifeless. His body is airless. His pran is pranless. Without the rasa or the raseshwari, Srimati Radharani. So if he is with the gopis, especially with the topmost gopi Radharani, then that rasa is complete. And here Vasudev is therefore praying to who? That Satyam Param Dhimahi, it all depends on what is your consciousness. Somebody who is reading Srimad-Bhagavatam, who is from the Sri Sampradaya, a Brahman from Vaishnava Sampradaya, topmost Brahman in the South Indian, and that Satyam Param Dhimahi means Lakshmi Narayana to them, right? But here Vyasadeva and those who have churned and churned and churned and churned that Satyam Param, because the source of Lakshmi Narayana is Nandan, and the source of Lakshmi is Radharani. We had explained that in the first session, Janmadiyasya. All the different incarnations happen through Lord Baldev, who is the first expansion known as the Sandini Shakti, and Radharani is the first expansion known as the Ahladini Shakti. So in this context, Satyam Param Dhimahi means Sri Radhika. May she kindly come and manifest. As stated in the Brahma Gayatri, what is that? Dhiyoyo na prachodaya bhargo devasya dhimahi. I meditate on Radharani, who is so kind, along with Sri Krishna. I meditate on him. So that is the essence also. Further, if we analyze a little bit, I will just quickly revise the different 5 or 6 different meanings that we had discussed in the first verse. The first meaning of the Bhagavatam, first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam refers to Krishna and to his creation, right? We have gone through that. All the different avatars, we very briefly explained the different avatars and the different different worlds that emanate from him through Lord Balaram, the Chaturvya, Vasudeva Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Mool Sankarshan, Maha Sankarshan, and from there the second Chaturvya of Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha Sankarshan in Mathura, in Dwarka, and then from the Maha Sankarshan, the three Vishnus, Mahavishnu emanates from Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, Sirodakshayi Vishnu, and all the different Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, they all happen. So that was the first meaning that is the creation of Sri Krishna. The second meaning of this verse is the Madhur Rasa, or the sweetness of Sri Krishna. Madhur. We're not talking about Madhurya yet. Madhurya is the fifth relationship, or the conjugal rasa. But Madhurya means the sweetness of Sri Krishna, Vrajendra Nandan Krishna. How sweet he is, and how in relation this whole first verse has been explained. The third way is to understand this verse in relation to the conjugal Radha Krishna. To the conjugal Radha Krishna, as in Brahma Gayatri, that is Bhur Bhuvasva Tatsa Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya. Bhargo is Radharani, Devasya is Sri Krishna. And the conjugal Radha and Krishna. And the fourth meaning is only in relation to Sri Radhika, because she is the Adi Ras of Madhurya Ras, and Madhurya Ras is the Adi Ras of Madhurya Ras is Shringar Rasa. And because if she is not present, no matter the other consorts like Lakshmi or Satyabhama or Rukmini, or even some of the top gopis may be present, but if Radharani is not present, then the rasa is not complete. Even the Ras Leela is not complete without Radharani. So that was the fourth meaning. And the fifth meaning is also a wonderful meaning. Actually, the fifth meaning of this particular verse is in relation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is amazing. See, now you will probably never get to hear this from any of those professional speakers speaking Bhagavatam, charging lakhs and crores of rupees and speaking on Bhagavatam for days, and then, for name, fame, money, etc. Here our Rasik Acharyas have seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's darshan in the first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. How is that? So how is it? Satyam Param Dhimahi. Let's take the last three words of this first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Param Satya. How is he the Param Satya? Because who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Radha Krishna Nahi Anna. He is Radha and Krishna. So if it is Radha and Krishna is Mahaprabhu, then Satyam Param Dhimahi is Mahaprabhu also. Is it true or not? So he has come, and especially he has come here to distribute the Satyam Param. He has come here to distribute the Satya, the ultimate of the ultimate, which is what? What is that? He has come here to give us the mercy by preaching Ragaman, Raga Bhakti. The Raga Bhakti means the bhakti in the footsteps of the Vrajvasis, especially that Gopi, that Vraj Gopi, Radha Rani. He has taken the mood, he has become a student. Krishna has become a student how to learn the topmost bhakti by obtaining the mood of Sri Radha. And that is considered the topmost of the Satyam most, the topmost. If you all remember, during our Radhastami program, we did a lecture for 2 days. And in the second day Katha, we described that conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked Rai Ramananda to describe the topmost truth based on scriptures. So Ramananda Rai explains that yes, the topmost truth is, what the Bhagavad Gita says, and he quotes verses like Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, and then he quotes the most famous verse also, Yat Karosi, Yat Asnasi, whatever you do, you offer to Krishna. And then he also, Mahaprabhu says, Iho Baiyo. This is external. Tell me more. So Mahaprabhu kind of in a subtle way rejects it. It is, again, see, this is a very high level subject matter. It has to be understood in the proper consciousness. If one fails to understand in the proper consciousness, then it is like an equation or a mathematical sum. And if you are even off by one number, your answer will be incorrect, or you will not be able to proceed further. So here, even Bhagavad Gita's topmost sloka, when he says that, okay, Sarva Dharman Paritijya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, surrender unto me only, and I will take care of your sinful reaction. Do not fear, O Arjun. So that Rai Ramanand quotes, and Mahaprabhu rejects that also. No, this is external. Tell me more. And like that, he comes to the different aspects, and he comes into Srimad-Bhagavatam, and then he quotes verses that are related to Varnashram. And then Krishna says, okay, that is also external, about the different duties that a mankind must do based on their occupational dharma. One should conduct their duties. And like that also, Mahaprabhu says, no, please tell me more. And then he says that one should accept Krishna in any one of the following relationships. Accept him in the dasyaras, in the mode of a master and a servant relationship. And Mahaprabhu said, that is okay. Tell me more. And then he comes to the point where he says, you can accept Krishna as your friend. And Mahaprabhu's eyes become widened. Now you're talking. Tell me more. So now he's entering Golok Vrindavan, because Sakhya Ras is predominant in Golok Vrindavan. And then he goes to the point of talking about the Vatsalya Ras, about the loving relationship with the elderly gopis and gopas, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, the paternal and maternal love, Vatsalya Ras. And Mahaprabhu is even happier, he's beaming. And then he says, please tell me more. Now you're coming to the point. And then he describes the Madhurya Ras, the love of the gopis in Vraj, in Golok Vrindavan, how much they love Sri Krishna. The gopis, they're so dedicated. And then Mahaprabhu is so pleased. And then again, further he says, tell me more. I want to know more. And then he starts describing the glories of, amongst all the gopis, the glories of Radharani. If you all remember that lecture. So like this, Satyam Param Dhimai also can be a conscious relative term even within the spiritual domain. I will repeat my words again. I just coined this up, but I hope it sounds pretty easy to understand. Even within the spiritual domain, this Satyam Param, it depends on the consciousness of the devotee, what Param is, even within the spiritual domain. So, to some Satyam Param means Lakshmi Narayan, to some Satyam Param means Sitaram, to some Satyam Param means Dwarkadish, Rukmini. But here Satyam Param, that has been explained that indeed, yes, it is Sri Radha. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken the mood of Radha Krishna. So therefore it is Satyam Param Dhimahi. I meditate. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also offered obeisances in this last line of Satyam Param Dhimahi. So because he has come to distribute all the truths, to sprinkle his mercy by preaching this Ragatmika Bhakti, especially in Radha Bhav. Yadi Gaurang na hoite tabe ki hoito kemone dharitam de. Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagata Janatake Yadi Gaurang na hoito. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not present, how would we have known the crescendo of the love of Radhaji? How could we have known Radhara Mahima, the glories of Sri Radha? Prema Rasa Sima. How would we have known the ultimate of prema, or the mellows, or the rasa of prem, if Gauranga or Mahaprabhu? So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Satyam Param Dhimahi. And here also a very good secret has been shared, is Adi Kavaye. Our acharyas have very nicely explained that here Adi Kavaye, when it comes in connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Adi Kavaye is Rupa Goswami. Shri Radhe Hari Hari. Rupa Goswami Pad is adeptly given in this particular verse, there in the very first verse again. Om Janmadi Yasya Yato Anvayat Itaratascha Artheshwa Abhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Tene, to unto whom? Brahma, spiritual knowledge. Hridaya, into the heart. Adi Kavaye, the first poet. And the first poet within the Rasik Vaishnavas, in one sense, is one of the most intimate Siksha disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami has understood the core of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. Those who are in ISKCON, we recite this mantra. You must be familiar. Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. What does that mean? It is good to understand the meaning of these verses, then we will relish it even more. It is good to speak them, they're auspicious in itself. But when we understand them, then, while we are chanting, meditating, then it gives us a very nice topic for meditation. It gives us a very nice smaran, along with kirtan when we do. So Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam, the core of the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mano Abhishtam. Who? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Mano Abhishtam. Sthapitam Jena Bhutale, who established all the different transcendental desires of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. A Swayam Rupa, this personality, when Rupa Goswami will give me shade at his lotus feet, when will he accept me at his lotus? Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will he accept me at his lotus feet? When will he accept me? I am a destitute, I'm nothing. So, oh Rupa Goswami, please accept me, because you have understood the core of the heart of Mahaprabhu. And who is Mahaprabhu again? Radha Krishna. So, and who is Rupa Goswami? Rupa Manjari. So Rupa Manjari is one of those intimate Sakhis of Radharani, who has understood the service of Radha and Krishna in union and separation. So here Adi Kaveh, our Acharya has explained, is Rupa Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired all those truths, and therefore he was able to compose wonderful Rasik and Tattva books like Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, Ujjwal Nilamani, Vidagdha Madhav. So many different books, and so many other books were composed by Sri Rupa Goswami. So that is the fifth meaning, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's darshan can be found in this verse, Janmadi Yasya, in the first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Now, I would like to share the sixth and final meaning based on my capacity. Of course, there might be more rasas as the devotees churn more and more, but here is a very wonderful sixth rasa that comes. This Janmadi Yasya is actually non-different from the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yes, yes, yes. I repeat that. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So all the other five rasas that we spoke about, the creation, Krishna, the sweet Krishna, Radha Krishna, Radha Rani, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their darshan or their consciousness is to be found in this first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Now, the Mahamantra is also present in this very first verse, and actually Mahamantra is actually Srimad-Bhagavatam itself. So one may ask how. For this may probably take me another 5 classes to explain, but I will very briefly explain based on today's timeline that Janmadi Yasya, the actual creation sustenance. So when we are chanting the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, so Hare means all the internal potencies of Krishna. Now, who are the internal potencies of Krishna? Radharani is there, and also the internal potency is all his devotees like Baldev, and all the gopis and the gopas and the Vraj Mandal is present in the word Hara. So obviously in the word Hara, the creation is already there in it, because Baldev Prabhu is the cause of the spiritual and other creations directly and indirectly. So the word Hara itself is sufficient in it for Janam, for the creation, sustenance and annihilation, because Sri Krishna is present through his internal potencies in Hare Krishna. The word Krishna and the person Krishna are non-different. So the Mahamantra Hare Krishna is present in this verse, in this particular word Janmadi. Yata anvayat itaratascha. So again, based on the Rasik explanation, union and separation. So when we chant, this is a secret that I will share with you all today. It is an advanced topic, but the next time when you chant, it is good to know. When you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when we are chanting Hare Krishna. So, okay, the very true and the standard meaning is we are addressing the internal energy of Krishna. Prabhupada has very nicely and simply explained that we are addressing the internal energy of Krishna, and the topmost internal energy is Radharani. So we are addressing Radharani and we are addressing Krishna. So when we are addressing a particular person or persons, automatically we are attracting the attention of that person. And the reason why we are attracting the attention is because we want something. And what is it that we want when we are calling out Hare Krishna? Why are we doing that? It's because, oh my dear Krishna, oh Krishna's internal energies, like the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani, please look at me. I need something from you. So what is it like, now that you have caught my attention, Radha and Krishna and the gopis can ask, or the Gurujans can ask, I am engaged here in this material world, simply Vifale, Sevinu, Kripana Durjana, Chapala Sukhala Lagire. Simply in this material world, I am day and night, I'm working hard. E Shita Ata Pabata Varishana, Edina Yamini Jagine, Vifale Sevinu, Kripana Durjana, Chapala Sukhala Lagire. Day and night, I'm working hard like a donkey in all the seasons, whether it is rainy season, whether it is cold season, shita atapa, whether it is summer, etc. Bata barishana, whether it is windy or whether it is barishan means the monsoon. I'm working day and night, I'm working very hard. And whose service am I doing? The Kripana Durjana. I'm serving Kripan. Kripan means miser and Durjan means rascals. So misers are those, although they have the highest wealth, they have a very, very huge quantity of wealth. They don't even want to spend 1 naya paisa or 1 penny, right? That is what we call in Hindi kanjus, right? And one more term you all have heard is makhichus. Makhichus means one takes the cake amongst all the miserly persons, that even a fly, when it falls in a glass of milk or juice, they will take that fly out, suck it, take out all the juice and then throw it away. It is gross. Please forgive me. But that is the meaning of the word makhichus. So we are all makhichus. We have so much. We are working for all those Fortune 500 companies and all those Reliance and those Ambani type people, or small and big. We are working for them because they are all kripan. They all have human bodies, but they are not able to use it to the highest extent. The highest wealth is Krishna Bhakti. But how many people are using that highest wealth? They are not using it. Therefore, they are crippled. Durjan, they are rascals. Because most of them, they don't believe in God. They think because of their power and money, they are God. So they are Durjans. They are rascals. So we follow without any good result. Fal means result, good fruit. And vifal means without result. Vifale sevinu kripana durjana. And for what? Chapala sukhalava lagire. Week to week, month to month, I'm getting some paycheck, several $1,000. Chapala sukh. And I'm thinking, oh, this paycheck when I will get, I'm getting $6,000 at the end of the month. Now, I need that gadget very badly, which is costing about $1,400 at Costco. So I am happy now, I can buy it. So internally, before the end is over, they already visualizing the paycheck, and they are already dreaming about that gadget, and already dreaming that I'm going to be very happy once I get the gadget. Like that, so many gadgets, so many toys we have in our home, in our basement. If it is making us happy, then why we are committing suicide? Why people are depressed? Why people are angry? Why people are in different variegated moods that are going to, so therefore chapala sukha lagire, for this simple, for this money in dollars, for this chapal sukha means flickering happiness. I'm simply serving this kripane sevinu vifala durjana chapala sukha lagire. So this is exactly what it is. So, oh Radha Krishna, Hare Krishna, please engage me in your service. That is the main bhav, which is a perfect bhav. But there are also many other meanings of the word Hare Krishna when we are chanting, again, depending on the consciousness. Again, within the spiritual consciousness, there is a consciousness levels. So one of the meanings of Yata Anvayad Itarastascha means union and separation. When we are saying Hare Krishna, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, when they're meditating deeply, they are actually serving Radha and Krishna in the union, in the Sringar Ras. I repeat that again, especially to some of my advanced devotees who are present here, the Rasik Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna means when those Acharyas are chanting on that high level platform, on that consciousness, they are actually visualizing their services when the Radha and Krishna's union happens. When they are in the Kunja, now I will do this for Radha, now I will do this for Krishna, now I will do this, now I will do that. Kim Kari, what shall I do? Kim means what? Kari means what shall I do? In other words, the sahacharis or the sakhis of Radharani or the manjaris are also called Kim Karis. That's another name. Kim means what and Kari means do. What can I do? What can I do to make them more and more happy? So Hare Krishna means the union, service in union. So that is one of the meanings of the word yataha anvaya. And itaras means that is direct, and indirect means when there's separation happens. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama. So Hare Krishna, that is service and separation. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, that mood is service in sorry, first one is Hare Krishna is service in union, because Radha and Krishna both are there along with the other gopis. Hara means all those gopis are present. Namna, Makari, Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis, Mahaprabhu has said. All my internal potencies are present. And Radharani, of course, being the topmost amongst all of them. So Hare Krishna, the meditation is service in union, in Sanmukh Bhav. And Vipralamba Bhav is when we come to the point, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Now Viyog has happened. Viyog, Hare Hare. That Viyog has happened. Viyog to Krishna has happened. Krishna is now in separation. Even Krishna needs solace. And Hare Hare, all the gopis and Radha Rani, they also need service. It's a very, very deep bhav. I don't know why I'm discussing this here, but that's okay. I'm sure Krishna within the hearts of everyone will manifest this bhav of the Maha Mantra. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, actually represents these 4 words. Yataha anvayat itarascha, union and separation, direct and indirect service to Sri Krishna. Indirect services through separation, and direct services when they are there. And then, like this, Satyam Param Dhimai is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because that is the supreme truth. In the word Hara, Radharani is there, all the gopis are there, all the Vrajvasis are, the whole Vraj Mandal is present, is internal potential. Hara, Hare, Krishna is incomplete without them, Ishra is incomplete without Radha, and Krishna himself, Nandan is there. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is indeed the Satyam Param Dhimahi. When we are chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are actually chanting the entire first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. And it is given to us on a very simple platter with different consciousness levels. The different meanings are manifest. And therefore, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself is an explanation, or rather, the explanation of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is found in the first verse in a very, very, you can say, profound way. So there are the 6 different darshans that we got from the very first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So here ends the first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam, our 6th session today, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of Sri Guru and Gauranga, by the mercy of our Rasik Acharyas, we have been able to go this far, and I hope that it has been pleasing to them, and the tattva that has been presented and the ras that has been presented has been pleasing to the Vaishnavas to hear. And especially it has been dedicated to Anup Prabhu's father due to his passing away. So today's session we have dedicated for his eternal well-being. Wherever he is, we pray to Radha Krishna that please, he is a wonderful soul based on the description that we hear. And this is one of the most important things. When I spoke to Anup Prabhu had such a wonderful attitude. He was actually in one of the 2 weeks ago, Sunday, he was attending the Bhagavad class. And then during the Bhagavad class, he got a message from India. It was early morning. And then he just left a message with one of the other Saivites of the Bhagavad group that I have to go, so I won't be able to do the closing statement today. So please forgive me. And then he did not even come for last, so I felt something. So I called him and asked him if everything was okay. And then he told me that his father has passed away. And it's so amazing that when he told me under the circumstances that his father passed away early in the morning on the last, I think it was Yogini Ekadashi, and he was chanting the holy names, and he very peacefully, he left his body. So this is amazing. So Krishna has guaranteed that one who remembers me, yam yam vapi smaranam bhavam tajeti ante kaloram, at the time of death, if one remembers me, one will certainly come to me. Oh, hey Arjuna. So this has been mentioned in many parts of the scriptures. This is a promise that Sri Krishna has given. So this is an amazing death. I wish that I get that kind of a death someday when I'm chanting or speaking Hari Katha, and the time comes, I leave my body in such a way. This is the dream of every devotee, thinking of Krishna, calling the names of Krishna when the time comes. And very peacefully he left. So, our deepest condolences, because obviously, those are the loved ones when they depart, we do feel separation from them. Even one of our very good devotee friends, Dr. Nanpran, he lost his sister about a month ago to COVID in Bombay. Nanpran Prabhu also very dedicated for Vaishnava, attending our Bhagavad classes, and he has been an inspiration to me personally. He lives in Vrindavan Dham, but to give support to his family, to his niece and nephew, the young, one boy and a girl, both husband and wife, Sulekha Mata and Nanpran Prabhu, left Vrindavan Dham and supported the family. And also during the last rites, he read Bhagavad and he sang some prayers, Purusa Sukta and Bhisma Stal, etc. So those people are very fortunate when they have family members like this. This is the same, it is a big gift. Like Nrsingadev, Bhagwan and Prahlad Maharaj, in that 7th canto, there is a very nice point that is being brought out, that even if there is one devotee in the family, that devotee can be the result of the eternal benefit to the rest of the family. Like because Prahlad was a devotee, although Hiranyakashipu was a Rakshasa, he got benefit because of the devotee nature of the son. So even sometimes our family and friends, they may not be the best of the devotees, or they may not be very encouraging. If we are devotees and if we care for them, or we love our children, our parents, etc., then we should take to this process. Kaumaram acharat pragya dharman bhagavad iha durlabham manushya deha tadapi arthadam adhruvam. And Prahlad Maharaj says that you have to take to this Krishna consciousness, if we are lucky, from Kaumar, right from the 4 or 5-year-old age. Kaumaram acharat pragya dharman bhagavatiha. We should take to this Krishna consciousness, dharman bhagavatiha durlabham manushya deha, because this particular body, the human form, is durlabh. It is very, very rarely attained. Durlabham manushya tadapi arthadam adhruvam. Although it is temporary, somebody can say, so what, it's the big deal. It is a temporary human body also. Some people live 50 years, 60 years, some people live 80 years, some people live maximum in this Kali Yuga right now, 100, 105, after that they die. It's a temporary phase. But although Prahlad Maharaj says it is temporary, one can attain the highest. Arthadam. Tadapi adhruvam. Adhruvam means temporary, and Arthadam means the topmost destination, which is Sri Krishna. Satyam Param Dhimahi, the sloka that we are discussing. We can attain Radha Krishna, we can attain the mercy of Radharani, we can attain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So our deepest condolences to the family, but at the same time, sometimes there is a double feeling, especially when we hear that somebody who has left in such wonderful, ideal circumstances, the life is successful. Prabhupada said that how do we know that the human form of life is successful? So the answer that Prabhupada, he said, the human form of life is successful if we can remember Krishna at the time of death. So no matter what, supposing even if we are 23 hours and 59 minutes Krishna conscious, and 1 minute that we may not be Krishna conscious, and if death hits us at that moment, it's like playing Russian roulette. We are doomed. Again, like Bharat Maharaj. Because he was very, very good devotee, Bharat Maharaj, in that Katha, concisely, very, very briefly, he was a very great devotee. He had become an Avdut. He was staying in the forest, and 24 hours he was Krishna conscious, staying under a tree, worshipping his Shaligram with Ganges water and Tulsi. And he was completely absorbed day and night in Hari Nam, Hari Kirtan, Hari Smaran. But one day while he was doing that, there was in the jungle, a tiger was chasing a deer. He saw that, and the deer jumped across a small river, a rivulet. And while she jumped in fear, that deer was pregnant, and out came out the little deer calf. She dropped in the water, and the tiger was chasing. So then immediately what Bharat Maharaj did, he dropped his seva and he went into the river and saved that little fawn, that little baby deer calf. And then the tiger went its way, seeing that he was being approached. He got so like that now dear baby, the mother had already died. I think the tiger, from what I remember, the tiger chased the mother, and the mother was killed by the tiger and eaten, but that Devi fawn was dropped in the water, and Bharat Maharaj saved that Devi fawn. And now that little baby, he was starting to take care of that baby, looking for its needs, little needs. So from 24 hours, he had to spend some time in taking care of that baby deer. And at the end, when the baby deer grew up, and then Bharat Maharaj's time was coming, and he was also lying under the tree helpless, and he was actually thinking of Krishna. But suddenly when the deer came and looked at him, and the deer sensed that my master is going to die, the one who saved me. So the deer started crying, and looking at the tears, Bharat Maharaj at that time became conscious about the well-being of the deer. Who is going to take care of you after I'm going to die? And like that, he leaves his body. So in the next life, because his consciousness was becoming a deer mother, he became a deer, a female deer. So these such kathas are there, that are there in the Shastras, that explain us that our consciousness should be very clear at the time of death. And Mr. Saha was a very Sahu was very fortunate that Mr. Divyakar Sahu, that he was taking the holy name and he left his body very peacefully. So I'm sure one thing that we are, especially Anup Prabhu and your family, you all should feel some great peace knowing that your father is in a much better place than where we are. But of course, pain is always there, and time is the healer. Krishna says that I am time in the Bhagavad Gita. So when we time is the healer, when we say that, even those who are atheistic persons, they use this sentence, this kind of a proverb, time is the healer, but they do not know that time is Krishna. Akalo asmi, Krishna says. So Krishna is actually Surut Sarva Bhutana. No matter what circumstances, where somebody goes, where somebody takes birth, the karmana daiva netrana deho jantu bhupate striya pravishta udaram purusha retu kanashraya. In the third canto Srimad-Bhagavatam, between the conversation between Dehuti Mata and Kapil Dev, there is that under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, the jiva takes birth in a proper family, to the proper father and mother based on their karma. Karmana daiva netrana. So based on the karma, one has to have the journey, but one who has taken to bhakti, that destination is guaranteed. So I am, in one sense, very pleased to hear the way your father left his body, and I'm sure it is because of the good sanskars, and that is so nice that you, a fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. From the last 10, 11 years that I have known you, with my association with the Jagannath Rath Yatras to Harihar Prabhu and the Jagannath Rath Yatra Saivites, you are one of those leading Saivites. They are always selflessly serving. So I can see where that attitude and bhav is coming from. It is due to that gift from your family, from your father. So again, I dedicate today's satsang, our Bhagavad Katha, and this Padmini Ekadashi of Purushottam Mas to your departed father, all our devotees. So I request all of you all to raise your hands once and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 4 times. We can do it all together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Anu Prabhu, I invite you now to go ahead and make the closing statement, and open up the microphone for all devotees who may want to share their reflections or questions or any kind of queries that they may have. So thus ends the first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.1.1. Om Janmadi Yasya Yatonvayat Itartascha Artheshu Abhigya Swarat Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Sarva Amrusha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastapokam Satyam Param Dhimahi Satyam Param Dhimahi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. First of all, I would like to offer my humble pranam to Satchitananda Prabhuji, Asimkar Prabhuji, and all the devotees who are present here for their prayer for my father. Couple of things I would like to share about my father. He was a very simple man. From the day one of his life, he was struggled too much due to financial circumstances. Being a first class administrative officer, he was so down to earth that when he was with me in Waterloo, he told me that he didn't know how to eat with a spoon. He was avoiding all his life with high class status. So he was so simple. He always do prayers like a couple of hours every morning and evening. And as you said, at the last period of his life, he had a 1 hour prayer, and then he had Harinam on his lips. He didn't bother about anybody else in the family, and he left his body. At the early stages, like around 45 years of age, he lost his wife as well. So he brought up 5 kids in that situation. So we can feel the hardship he went. But I am very happy that at the end he must be in Golok Dham due to his prayers and Harinam. So thank you very much, everybody, again for your prayers. So today is a very a very pious day. It's a Purushottam Mass and also Padmini Ekadasi. So we are very fortunate to hear Bhagvatam Katha from Prabhuji. So he nicely explained the meaning of Brahma Gayatri and 6 different meanings of verse 1.1.1, the creation of the world and Krishna, the Madhur Ras, the conjugal Radha Krishna relationship, and on that respect the meaning of first verse, the Radharani itself, and the relation to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and lastly the meaning of first verse with respect to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Also different rasas like Sakhya Ras, Bhashalya Ras, Madhurya Ras, Sringar and Madhurya Ras, and especially the confidential meaning of this verse 1.1 on the perspective of the Rasik's devotees. Thank you very much. I am so fortunate, and today I am relaxed and happy that I am here with you all. With that, I would like to open the forum for any question and answer. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Anu Prabhu. Yes, you are strong. I see that. Emotions are always going to be there, but you're taking everything in the right perspective. And may Krishna give you all more strength and more spirituality. And that is the only way. We all have to face it sooner or later. So thank you for sharing your father's simplicity. It is an encouragement to all. It is just not something that we hear in Shastra, but practically we find that there are such persons who are involved in bhakti and how their life is successful, especially when they can remember Sri Krishna when they leave their body. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yes, Hariya Prabhuji, can you do like maybe 1 minute of Mahamantra, please? Like we should always do that at the end, and then we will open up. In the meantime, we will give a chance for persons to think about any questions or any realization. So just for 1 minute, Prabhuji, please do Mahamantra, and let us dedicate this Mahamantra to Anu Prabhu's father. Thank you so much.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I think I'm done. Jai Shri Gauri Hari. Is done, Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So
Welcome.
anybody, thank you so much for chanting, and we will dedicate again the entire program to Anup Prabhu's father for his eternal well-being. So yes, anybody has any comments, questions? 6 sessions we did on the first verse. Any reflections, please? I would like to really hear from the devotees. You can unmute yourself. Is everybody got the chance? Let me see if it is setting. Yeah, no. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Go ahead. Now you think you can. I think you can do it now. Hari Bol.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Nan Pran Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Vrindavan Dham ki
Dandavat
jai.
Pranam, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. First of all, thank you very much for providing us so many meanings of this first verse of Janma Diyasya Tanmayati Tatyate Shuddhi. Thank you very much, and my heartfelt deep condolences to Anup Prabhu for losing his father. And his father, I think, has achieved the ultimate goal of his life. Ante Narayan Smriti. Whatever we do during our life, if Ante Narayan Smriti, so we get whatever gati we deserve. It is like an examination that a student may study throughout the year or may not study. But if you remember the answer at the time of examination, that is our examination. So if we remember the answer at the time of examination, we clear that class and we do not come back into that class. So similarly, if at the time of death, if we remember the Lord in any way, we don't have to become, or we don't have to obtain the membership of this world again and again. So if we remember the answer, we do not become the remember of this world. So I think his father has achieved the greatest possible position and achieved the real fruit of his life. Similarly, the Raja, this Punshekar prays in Mukunda Mala's throat कृष्ण त्वदीय पाद पंकज पंजरांतम अतएव में विष्णु मानस राजहंस प्राण प्रयाण समय कफ वात पिते कंठावरोधन विदो स्मरणम
Hari bol.
even I have similar death Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you. We have Vijay Krishna Prabhu. He's a very Rasik Vaishnava from the Toronto area today. Vijay Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for nice class, and also very sorry about to hear about Prabhu's father who left the body, but full Krishna consciousness is a very good news, and also very happy to hear the very nice realization of the when Prabhu would talk about not to appear in the class, but the answer at very last moment of the exam, so you don't have to appear in this material again. It's a very good, amazing realization, and nice sloka I recited from the Mukunda Mala Sutra, and it was very famous. It was very, Srila Prabhupada was very fond of this sloka too.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Nalina Sundaram Nath Te Padam. Your father has obtained the lotus-like feet of the beautiful Master Sri Krishna.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. definitely, and good eye-catching picture you did explain him to Danu Prabhu. That's very good, very good expansion of process.
Yes, this is one of the words from the Gopi Geet. Then you have very nicely put these words here in your DP, in your picture here. Nalina Sundaram Nath Te Padam. Nalin means lotus, Sundaram means beautiful. And Nalina Sundara Nath Te Padam. Oh Krishna, oh Nath, oh our provider of love, provider of everything. Our emotions, our love, everything that we have, it's only you, O Krishna. So your lotus feet, Nalina Sundaram, Nath Te Padam, your lotus feet, your feet are so beautiful, just like the lotus flowers. Hare Krishna.
Wow, very good, thank you.
So any realizations or reflections, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, on the first verse? And you heard the best part, I think.
No, I come very lately, but this is the best part you heard about it. That's the you told about Nalina Sundara Nath Te Padam. That is the essence. One we have to remember the Krishna lotus feet. And also Prabhu said, nice, one you to remember last moment you have passed. That's the best. Your
Thank
katha
you,
is
Prabhu.
unending, you are like Burida Jana of Gopi Kids, Gopi say you're Burida Jana, Savana Mangalam. But then your katha is Buri Jana, full of, you are very Burida Jana person. You want to talk about Krishna hours and hours and hours. That's very good.
Thank you for your blessings. That's all I know. So, I am trying to, by the mercy of Guru Gauranga, speak Hari Katha, whatever little I know, I'd like to share. And hopefully all our lives will become absorbed one day fully, just like Anup Prabhu's father, when we leave our bodies. Then our life is successful.
One thing I also really like it, you say about the Jai, you also put a Lord Chaitanya in the first look. Actually, I never thought of that one because being a Radha Krishna, you also put a Lord Chaitanya. I never thought of it. Nobody can, I think, ever thought of that thing. And I was very, you are exactly right. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, nothing but Radha Krishna. And you put in the Srimad-Bhagavatam in the very first look, I was very overwhelmed and stunned, but you are exactly right, actually. Thank you very much for that.
And Adi Kavi, Rupa Goswami.
Oh, yes, Adi Kavi is Rupa Goswami because of Raganuga point of view. That was also very eye-catching. Gudiya point of view. That is a Rasik point of view. That is also very amazing. Rupa Goswami, I was very overwhelmed to hear. They were exactly right. No second thought, because he is a leader of the Raganuga Bhakti and a base kinkiri. And also nice definition you told about a kinkiri. What should I do it? What should I do it? What should I do it? That is an amazing kinkiri definition. Kimkari definition you gave it,
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Bhakti. Also Mahamantra. Mahamantra is there in the first verse.
Yes, that was nice too.
We don't realize how much Mahamantra is packed with. We take it so lightly. Some people are even afraid to say Hare Krishna or ashamed to say Hare Krishna. Hare Baba, Hare Krishna has got the entire Bhagavatam in these 2 words.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
18,000 compacted in 2 words. Hare Krishna. So how intelligent Srila Prabhupada was. He was giving Bhagavatam to all the hippies standing in the Tompkins Square Park and simply chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He had started preaching Bhagavatam right there.
Oh, that is one of the answer I must say. That's why he doesn't say Radhe, he only say Hare Krishna. That's the best thing. He want to give Bhagavatam instantly.
Yes, yes. Hare Krishna. I also have Kiran Mataji today from Chicago. Welcome, Mataji. I see you. If you can hear us, if you can share your realizations, thank you for coming to the group.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mata.
This was my first time actually within all your series, so I was fortunate to hear, and that makes me feel how much I'm losing every time. Yeah, I don't know if I could share any realizations right now because it takes time for me to absorb.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. But thank you for coming. I'm very happy to see you. Kiran Mataji is a wonderful, wonderful person who serves the Naperville ISKCON temple, and she is an expert cook. So Sunday feast, she's cooked so many times for Naperville, and she's an amazing, amazing host with so wonderful Vaishnava qualities. You know, whenever Anjali and I go there, she just treats her, us so nicely, feeds us nicely and takes care of us. So thank you for coming, Mata.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. We are fortunate to hear from you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. It was very nice class. I was observing your class today.
Thank you,
Yes,
Prabhu. Prashant Prabhu. Haribol, Haribol. Jai Ho.
Jai Ho. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
All glories to Prabhupada. Dandavat Pranam. Yes,
Prabhuji, I will not take you too much time. I will say just simply thank you. It was a nice class. And maybe after class, we can do a few minutes Hari Katha over the phone once you get done.
Okay, Prabhuji. No problem.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Also, I wanted to kind of, with Prashant Prabhu's permission, Prashant Prabhu also just lost his brother-in-law in India about 2 weeks ago to COVID. So situation is not so nice. We are many people that we know in our lives, either they are directly affected or their family members. So let us keep them in our prayers and pray for their eternal well-being. So I would also like to chant 4 times for his brother-in-law. So please, everybody, whoever is present, please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhuji, I'm sorry, what was your brother-in-law's name?
Sanjay Tyagi.
Sanjay Tyagi ji. So we pray to the lotus feet of Radha Krishna and Acharyas to give him shelter and a higher destination. And lots of condolences and strength to the family, Prabhuji, especially your sister and the children.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else may want to share any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhu.
Last time while discussing on Purushottam Mass, there was a question. Why the Navakalabha takes place only on the month of Ashad?
Yes, that was a question that was asked by Asim Prabhu. Asim Prabhu, are you there? Maybe he has connection issues. Boliye.
Yeah.
So maybe you can do one thing. When he's there next time, you can answer it because it's better.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I gathered from a very learned master who has got authority on Jagannath Tattva. So I asked him. He told that the month of Kartik and Vaishakh are the most auspicious month for us, for the human beings. So the month of Ashad, like the Purushottam Mas, Ashad month is the Pramukh Mas for Jagannath Mahaprabhu, because it's the has to be most auspicious month for Jagannath Mahaprabhu, because the most important, very important incident happened during that month, like Dehatyag, like Daru Brahma. The Jagannath leaves the body of Daru during that month, just after after the Gajanan best, which happens on the
Snan
day,
Yatra.
Snan Yatra. So after about 2 weeks of Anusara Vasa, like the 2 weeks of quarantine, he leaves his body, like the Brahma is taken out of the Daru of Jagannath. And just after that, they are given Samadhi in Koilu Vaikuntha. Then after that, Dasaha Karma also takes place. Dasaha Karma, like we have 10 days, 11 days of, several rituals takes place. So similarly, the Dasaha Karma for the Jagannath Baladev Subhadra for the Daruj takes place. And immediately after that, then the Daru Annihilation, like there are some rituals, like the main priest goes to, there is a Kakadpur Mangala, and we say it Adhya Padute, like they do keep prostrating for about 7 days. Then they get to know what the Daru would be available. So this takes around 7 days. Then after the Daru, they do the Daru Annihilation, and it takes time to once the Darus are located, then it takes time, because the roots, the Darus are uprooted. The Mahanim trees are uprooted, not cut. So everything, all this takes place. Then they they do special puja. They bring that on the, the bullock cart. Then after that, they build it. It takes long time. Then after that, after the Brahmas are taken out, then the Brahmas are placed. Then the Nabojavana Darshana takes place. Then after, so it takes long time. And because all these auspicious happenings, they take place, so that's why that's down in the Pramukh Mas on the month of Ashad, which is the Pramukh Mas for Jagannath. So the Pramukh Mas, Ashad, the month of Ashad is the Pramukh Mas for Lord Jagannath. That's why.
Haribol. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hari. Nice.
Hare Krishna.
And one more thing I'd like to share. So I have the opportunity, we had the opportunity to have Anup Prabhu's father, along with his father and mother, let off place long time back when they visited. So I had some interaction with him. He was a very spiritual person. My prayers with him, his soul definitely will be, like he told, will go to Golok Dham. So my prayers are always with him. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Dr. Harihar Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Today we have Subhadra Mata. Subhadra Mata, kemon achen?
I am
Haribol.
fine, Prabhu. I am fine, and it was really we are so lucky to have you. Especially today, the occasion is Padmini Ekadashi day. We are hearing about the Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Katha, everything. Whatever you say really is so nice. Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you for
You
coming,
are
Mata.
always amazed.
How is Raj Vidya Prabhu doing?
Vidya Prabhu also, okay, he will tell you.
Raj Vidya Prabhu is always fine. I listened the complete Bhagavatam Katha today. I enjoyed. So nice it was. Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to Acharya.
Hope to see you personally very soon.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
sweet.
this time we are going to miss you in Kartik in Vrindavan. We will do
Yeah,
Kartik here.
Yeah, okay. What to do, Prabhu? Everybody's upset about that.
No, we have to do something.
One day, what my wish is that one day all the Bhagavad group we all have, when the COVID is okay, maybe all we can go for Kartik month, at least for a few days together, and we can do some parikrama, Harikatha, Harikirtan in the
That's
month
true.
of Kartik.
Also, Prabhuji, Gopi Geet. Don't forget Gopi Geet.
Get
Yes.
prepared. Get prepared for that.
Huh?
Get prepared for that.
Yes. Yes, we will do in Kartik. This time I've thought we will do detailed Katha of Damodar Katha. And then of course we will sing. So you can sing Gopi Geet, Subhadra Mata, on the Zoom. If you can, when we, during Kartik, we can decide on the day and everything. Okay?
Okay. Also, thank you, Hariyar Prabhu. Very nice Katha. We really, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, and Prabhuji. Nice to see you here. I am so glad.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please come regularly if you can.
Yeah, Prabhuji, no, I was not here. No, I went to Bruce Peninsula. My brother is here. So
Okay.
sometimes, the grandchildren are also coming. So
No, I understand.
Yeah. Thank you anyway.
No, you're welcome. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai Ho.
Jai Ho, Jai Ho.
Jai Ho. Who else do we have? Falgun Prabhu from Edmonton. Falgun Prabhu ji. Gopal Prabhu. Gopal Joshi Prabhu ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
All glories to Prabhupada. Dandavat Pranam.
I would like to thanks to Hariyar Prabhu, Hariyar Babuji, that they describe nicely the meaning of Asad Mas, why it is happening, especially the Daru Brahma and the change of this. Again, like even if I am from Puri, I don't know. It's there are a lot of myths and a lot of stories are regarding the Brahma. Like some people they say it is the heart. Some people they say it is Navi, and but the thing is nobody know what is exactly. Just wanted to know what is as per Gaudiya Sampradaya. Before that, I just wanted to my heartiest regards and condolences to Anu Prabhu, and I'm glad to know that really this is the success. Like the way the pure soul was departed, and this is really inspiration for all of us that this is called success.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And thank you for explaining the way like
Can I call you back in 10 minutes?
Success happened. Thank you. And this is what inspiring us. So sorry if you can please put light in the view of Gaudiya Sampradaya. Hello.
I don't know, but maybe Hariyar Prabhu is more knowledgeable in the Jagannath Seva. But from whatever little I understand, I think there is a Shaligram that is transferred into the Navakalevaram where everything is blacked out and nobody can see it. Is it true, or is it? You can probably please throw some more light, Hariyar Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, before Hariyar Prabhu start, yes, I am from Puri, and this is true. Like total, the complete grid, they completely black out the Puri town, and you won't see anything. Like everywhere you will see the blackout. That's I experienced personally. I have experienced the night when they changed the Brahma. Then like of course, Hariyar Prabhu, you can.
No, yeah, Gopal Prabhu is the most knowledgeable. He's from Puri and he's a very spiritual person. I know. So if you go and finish up, we want to hear from you.
No, Hariyar Prabhuji. I thought like I can get some Gaudiya Sampradaya the view on regarding what is that exactly. Like because what happened? Like some people they say it is Navi, some people they say it is heart, and again like some researcher they are still they are trying to convince that it was something like artificial heart, using the electricity, and still it is it is it is still pumping, and if you touch it it could be like electrify anyone. So that's the reason people don't
I
use
think that is a myth, 100%. I don't believe that.
Yeah. So yeah. So if a little bit I know, if Prabhuji, you're going to say something?
Yeah, one
Prabhuji?
thing I'll say, I don't think that's definitely myth. Yesterday I was watching another thing about the Kailas Parbat, and Sadhguru was there with one of his disciples, and she was sleeping on the ground, and Sadhguru put a bowl of water near her head, and in 30 minutes the water boiled. So Sadhguru explained, like there is so much power in that place that it can create electricity of 1000 volt, and it can boil a water in 10-20 minutes. So I think that's why, that's the reason when they change the heart or whatever we say, there must be so much of electricity or so much of power transferring. That's why they put all the electricity up for the city. Yeah.
In fact, yeah. So yeah. Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, Anup. Yeah, complete.
That's what I was trying to say. Like it's not artificial or something. If there is something, then it must be very powerful. So it's definitely for that reason they are putting up all the electricity of the whole city. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me put a little bit light what I know. So Prabhuji and Gopal Prabhuji and Prabhuji. So what happens is that when the Daru Brahma is placed in the newly constructed Daru, in the Brahma is placed. So that time a tremendous hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hariyar Prabhu, we can hear you.
Yeah, first of all, the person who changes the Brahma, his hand is totally wrapped with cloths, so that he cannot feel what it is. Like it is solid, it is hard, soft, whatever he cannot feel. His palm is wrapped with cloths. So and when the Daru Brahma change of Brahma takes place, the Brahma is placed, there will be tremendous thunderous sound, noise comes out in the entire Puri. So this is a fact. Each time the Brahma is placed in the Daru, so that time there is a tremendous thunderous explosion sort of sound takes place. So this is about this. This is what you know. But from the mythological point of view, as Gopal Guru said, so this is when the Krishna left his body, and the body was cremated. So when the body was being cremated, there was a Sorga Bani. That stop it now. Stop it. So that time it was stopped. As you know, the Naval portion is the huge flesh. So that is burnt at the last. So the entire body was burnt, where the naval portion, the navi was not burnt. So then Swargabani was there to stop it. Krishna, he will be worshipped in the Kali Yuga. And that navi was taken by what is Anga, not Anga, Bali's Bangsas, maybe Anga. So it was taken and then it was worshipped on the hills of Nilgiri. So that Navi, Krishna's Navi, is then after that, the Raja Indradhamna